Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Tanner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Hello there. You're out in the desert. You look surrounded by pylons, two
I
ominous
am
figures behind you. Who could
just
it be?
making sure that the grid is operating optimally.
Thanks. What would the world do without you, eh? And we're joined by a very, very special returning guest. It's Janine Pipe, writer of Sausages, The Making of Dog Soldiers, and The Making of the Descent, director of Footsteps, Charlie Foxtrot, and her welcome back to the show, Janine. Hello.
Thank you very much. I like it. Yeah, there's lots of things behind me now. So
Yeah,
there's
tons of things behind
who
you.
likes films. Yeah.
It's almost like got to the point where I'm like, what do I read out and what do I just cut out? Because there's so much.
Yeah,
I'd be here all day
you have
long.
to start choosing your least favorites. And Janine's like, right, that one's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get rid of that one. That's old. Yeah.
How are you doing? It's been a hot minute since you've been on the show.
Yeah.
Last
I mean,
time possibly Fright Fest when we chatted to you properly.
yes,
Yeah.
I
I think
think
it
it
might have
might
been.
be Fright Fest. Yeah, I think last time I was actually on was Hostel, so that's like ages ago.
Yeah. Time
Um.
flies. Time
So yeah,
time
last week
flies.
was Fright Fest. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. How exciting. And obviously you're extremely busy, as we
Yeah.
always say. You're busy, you're doing it all. You're still obviously big horror focused, but you've been a little bit on the action genre recently, on a bit of an
Yeah.
action genre kick, obviously with the release of Charlie Foxtrot, and new projects as well. Can we
Yeah.
talk about any new projects? I know we've got the book I mentioned at the top of the show.
Um. You put film wise, I'm directing a film hopefully April time, and I can't say anything about it because it's not even mine. Somebody's hired me to direct it for them.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but it's a romance.
Oh,
Oh,
very nice.
oh.
Like, what? I am like so out of my depth with anything like that. I'm gonna have to ask like my teenage daughter for some advice. But it's one of those things where it's like, all the fundamentals are all there. As every film that's made, it's the same kind of like setups and things, just obviously like different tactics with depending on the
Mm.
genre and stuff. So we're still, going to be hiring somewhere for a location. There's still going to be cameras, still going to be all of that kind of stuff. So it's another, string to the bow and all of that. So
Yeah.
it'll be
Oh
quite
my God.
interesting. Yeah,
And that
So
being
is that
said,
is
as
that
well, like
a short as well? Sorry.
it's
with your
another short.
romance,
Yeah, it's
like
Sorry,
another.
Andy.
you do so much with your horror work, like that's really capturing people's emotions. You do a lot of like focusing on people's facial and like those reactions as well. I think you got a lot of transferable stuff in there. Looking forward to it. I'm
The
led to
build up.
believe there are emotions involved in romance, Ben. I don't know if you can confirm.
Yeah, some. I guess the build up's the same. It's just rather than someone getting killed or someone getting their ass kicked,
Get a big
it's
kiss.
get a
A
big
kiss. Yeah,
get a
that's
bit
it.
of a big kiss. Someone falls in love. It's all
That's it.
mushy.
Yeah, we might change it, and we'll get to the kiss, and I'll be like, I just can't do it. Just slap them instead.
I
Yeah,
can't do it. Just
Change
slap
it
put
them.
to
Just
some
stab them.
put some scary music on it.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously we have received our Footsteps DVDs. If you pay attention to the Horror Hangout podcast social media, you'll see that me and Andy have both got a lovely copy of the. I mean, it looks great. The cover is awesome. It's like a classic VHS style. All I'm doing is showing
Yeah,
the
I'm going to
reflection
interfere
of
with my
it.
background as well. I have one here that just
There we
makes
go.
me
Hold it
entirely
in front.
disappear if I
Hold it
hold
in
it
front
near
of
my
your
body.
bod.
There we go.
And then there's special features and a commentary track, which I didn't know. So I am gonna put it in. I don't know what do I just put it in?
Put it in your
I mean,
PlayStation, Ben.
put it in the PlayStation. It'll accept
All
that, will
right,
it?
Grandad. How do you even set this up then?
No, I'm the opposite of Grandad. My all of my technology is so far advanced. I'm going back to the DVD. I say that as I'm collecting VHS as well. So I'll be all right. Have
Ask Megan if she can do it for you.
She won't know. She
You
won't
phone
have a
her
clue
up.
when it comes to
I'll
DVD.
put this DVD on then.
She'll literally just go, or just press play on the TV. It's streaming in it. No, it's a fig. It's a disc. Does
It's a
everyone
cool
remember what was
media. Yeah,
what was the first DVD you ever purchased? Do you remember?
Oh,
Good question.
I know what mine is actually. No, I don't. I'll tell you, I remember the first VHS I ever purchased myself is actually on my shelf, and that's Terminator 2.
Oh wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah,
Very nice.
DVD, I don't know.
DVD for me was Deep Blue Sea. And
Classic.
it was like, like the sort of like cardboard cases rather than like the full plastic
Yeah,
ones.
with a
So
little,
like a
with a little plastic clip.
little plastic clip. It was one of those, yeah. And I think it might have been one of the first like films that was like released on DVD. Not probably not the first, but like when they did like a run of films, you're like, this you can get this in DVD, and I was like, hell yeah.
Um, I
And now we've come
think
full circle, and I've got a short film on DVD. That's super exciting.
I think my first one was maybe, and I think I did it to celebrate the fact that we just got a player and I was old enough to get them. I think it was House on Haunted Hill,
Oh yes,
Nice.
very
not the
nice.
old one,
The remake.
the 90s people
Oh
shake their heads around
yeah,
really fast version.
all over that one.
Have we ever done an episode on House on Haunted Hill?
I feel like we have. Yeah, I mean, I said this the other week. We are getting to the point now. We have had so many episodes that it is getting to the point where we're going, have we done that? I don't want to be an idiot and like record an episode on a film we've already done. We did already do it.
You and Luke, it must have been.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because we did 13 Ghosts, and I don't think we've done Ghost Ship though, have we?
No.
That
We'll get
trio of.
We'll get that sorted just for the opening, if nothing else.
Oh yeah. And 13 Ghosts is awesome as well. I love that film.
Yeah, 13 Ghosts is great.
Whatever happened about the series of that was rumored for a while?
It's still just rumors, as far as I'm aware. Every so often I check.
That would be good, though, wouldn't it? That would be.
I mean, in principle, it would be good, but isn't it meant to be a Netflix project, which means we'll get the first 7 Ghosts and then it'll be cancelled?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's call it 7 Ghosts.
Yeah.
Absolutely stonking high praise. Everyone's enjoying it. Pause for a second, series. What's that? It's only the second most popular film on our platform. Better cancel that then.
Yeah.
talking of 13 Ghosts, obviously it's got a number in the title, similar to 7 has in the title here. Now, when you're doing things like that, are you discounting the number completely and just saying the word, or do you get a little bit tripped up and be like, 7N or 13N? The 13 Ghosts one is taking liberties. It's like the 1 and the 3 is a T and an E.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I get it, but it is taking liberties. You have to.
7's a tricky one though, because it can be used as an L or a V, depending on how far you tilt it. I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I
like,
swear though, when this
style.
Correct me if I'm wrong. When this film came out, it didn't have the 7 in the title, did it? It never did. It's kind of like stylized now on a lot of things, but I swear when it came out, it was just 7. Just
looking at the theatrical release poster, just written like a word.
Yeah. Interesting. I wonder what they added it. I bet they added it when it was like year 2000, trying to be all hip. Come on, we got down with the kids. Let's get a 7 in the middle.
How many films could you get through if you were treating them as a series? And I'll try and work this out later. How many films, if you assume that's so, you'd obviously have Mithrigan, you'd have Fan Four Stick,
the one
5 Cream.
One. You could have any two could be 5 Cream. That's Scream for anybody wondering. Yeah, it's confusing, isn't it?
Let's see how far you could get.
Yeah, so you can have a nice movie marathon, just numbers only. So making of the Descent book, Janine, can we talk a little bit about that? So you've told us it's a coffee table book. It's not just a It's not just a bloody book with just text in it, like Sausages, which was lovely, of course. But this one, coffee table book, pictures, behind the scenes stuff.
Yep. Yeah, so obviously it's going to be like your classic coffee table film book. So nice big with nice stills from the film and lots of information. We've talked to pretty much everybody that was a part of it. So yeah, we've got some nice little nuggets of information in there. Neil's managed to get a CD-ROM from CD-ROM, which is unbelievable. From like the props guys, who obviously a lot of it was taken at the time, like for continuity and all of that kind of stuff. But it's still, hundreds of photos of like the props as they were being used and all those kind of things.
Wow.
So It's going to have lots of proper nerd stuff in it, and both me and Neil are massive film nerds anyway.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
You spoke to everybody. You spoke to the crawlers as well. They don't seem like the talkative type.
Yeah, we did. Talked to 3 of the guys that played the crawlers. So yeah.
Wow. Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah.
They've had a bit of time to learn how to talk by now, though, Ben. They've had
they've had ages. They've had
thrust into the limelight. You see people, like Jackie Chan when he first started on films didn't really speak English. Now, can't stop him. Just chatting all day.
Can't stop him. Can't shut him up.
Those crawlers, few red carpets, you'll see him pick it up.
That's right.
Janine, talking of props, did I see, was it you or did you share this or did you react to this where someone had found like a dog soldier's prop or dog soldier's costume randomly somewhere in a random spot, like in America, I think?
I think Neil shared it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's, as far as he's aware, that it is legit. He just has no idea how it got there, why it got there.
That's fascinating. Just wondering like, how it made its way there. I just imagine it sat on a plane, just like
bizarre.
Some probably wore it so they didn't have to put it in their hand luggage.
Yeah.
Come on. Ryanair and their strict carry-on policy. They were like, right, I'll just wear this.
Sat next to me is now that you've watched Footsteps.
Oh,
that's very cool.
Wow,
that's amazing.
I love it. Was that?
He's very handsome.
I was about to say custom made.
It was custom made. Yeah.
I'm sure it was. I don't know what I was suggesting. I'm not suggesting. I just went down the nearest Halloween shop and got one.
Yeah, got him off the shelf in Asda. He was fine. Yeah.
That middle aisle in Aldi, they have all sorts, don't they?
Oh my God. Do you wear it around the house?
I haven't, but I might do.
Yeah.
Surely your Halloweens are sorted for life.
Yeah. The next time there's a power cut and you want to freak out everybody in your house, pop it on.
Just do it.
Yeah.
And
I also feel that you've got like carte blanche as well, because someone's like, if you wore it 2 Halloweens in a row, someone's like, oh, Janine, you came as that last year. Oh, yeah, I did come as a monster from a film that I wrote and directed last year as well, didn't I? What have you? Oh, a Dracula again.
Oh, bloody Ben.
Sorry, was that yawning? Oh, so it's not that I'm tired. It's your company. Soz.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I mean, no, we won't. We'll obviously keep everybody up to speed with when the Descent book will be released. Looking forward to that. We might have some news potentially soon on when that could be, and we'll share.
We'll always share
it as well.
Those along there. In the meantime, though, everyone, have a good long hard look at your coffee tables. If it's looking a bit sparse on there, good. But if it's already looking a bit busy, start thinking about what can be moved on to a shelf or something. Come on.
Mine's looking pretty
Mix
busy.
Mix it up a little bit. Live your life.
Mine's looking pretty busy, but I know for damn sure that the Descent books go and pride a place right on that coffee table. Just yeah. I'll have a little read of it every single day, I reckon.
Every time you have a coffee?
Every time I have a coffee, which is every day. So
imagine that, like your parents have come round or something for a visit and you're like, having a coffee? Oh, they're just asking about your day. What are you doing? I'm just reading my coffee table book.
Just reading my coffee table book, mate.
Think I keep this here for my health? No.
I don't mean to do an ad-on sale, but sorry. We're writing a book as well. Do you know what? We're making some pretty good progress on it. I'm pretty sure it's okay to share this, but Janine, you're going to write us a chapter as well, aren't you?
I am indeed, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, if you like Janine's writing about dog soldiers and writing about the Descent, she'll be writing a chapter in our very own book as well. And I'd like to say, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but I'd like to say this year, maybe the year, we're going to have some more solid news about when it will be done.
Get around to it.
Because we've been chirping on about it for bloody ages, but honestly, it's got to a point. You know, when you get to a point with something, you go, you know what? This is
you're reaching towards critical mass now. So the text is all coming together. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of time with legal, working out the as if we've got a legal department. You know, working out the rights and all the pictures and stuff like that. But yeah,
if you're not busy, Janine, and you want to be a legal department person, I know you're making romance films, action films, horror films.
Yeah,
you know.
But yeah, how's your fair use law? It's okay, I can read. Yeah, very, very exciting. It's nice to be getting to work on these things.
Yeah.
Just imagine, Ben, if we're sitting there at maybe who knows, November, when we're hopefully at Thought Bubble again. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a little something there.
You never know.
I feel like if we say these things out loud, the increased pressure. Yes, I will sleep worse for it, but I'm also more inclined to panic and do more work.
Yeah, I feel like I'm the same. I don't know. Yeah, how do you deal with that, Jane? How do you, Janine? How do you deal with your looming deadlines?
Oh yeah, I am the queen of procrastination. So it's like you've got like 20 projects to do. Yeah, I've got all the time in the world. And then as soon as there's a deadline, it's like total like fuck. And then
Yeah.
now we got to do it. Yeah,
But you need
terrible.
it, don't you? Because otherwise the procrastination will last forever unless you
Yeah,
Yeah.
put those deadlines in place.
yeah,
Let's put some deadlines in place, Andy. No matter how terrifying they seem,
yeah.
let's do it.
See you Friday, everybody.
See you
No,
Friday,
not
everyone.
like-
It's out on Friday. Looking forward to it. Uh, okay, a little bit of horror news to discuss just before this, and you know what? I feel like this is two horror stories that are kind of linked to the thing you just showed us, Janine. Um, Creep Tapes season 2 has been confirmed. The reason I say that is because the werewolf head you showed us just now reminds me a little bit of old Peach Fuzz
Yeah.
from the Creep Tapes, and I did think that um when it appeared in your short film. But yeah, it's been confirmed for season 2 on Shudder. 6 new tapes. Andy, you saw this, didn't you?
I did. I like the creep
Yeah.
tapes a lot.
I don't know. Janine, did you see it at all?
Not yet. It's on the list, but not yet.
On the list, yeah. I think it was on my list for a little while, and then when I realized it was only 30 minutes each, I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not? That's a lovely bedtime length, which is what I say to my wife. Sorry. Oh God. Oh God. So this
Shame we
is
don't
on
edit
Shudder.
this.
I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from. 6 brand new episodes, Creep season 2. I don't think we've got a date for it yet, but you know, this should be fun. I wasn't sure how I'd feel about this in like the found footage series style. I kind of, oh, why can't we just get another film? Is what I kind of thought. But it worked surprisingly well. And even though for the first few episodes I was a bit like, okay, is this just the same kind of formula over and over again? But then it hits a midpoint and the formula changes up a bit, and by the end it was completely different, and I did really like that. So interested to see where it would go after that. Andy, you agree? Is that you
Yeah,
smiling?
absolutely. That was a little
Smiling and
nod as
nodding.
well. I
He's
was
like,
like, yes,
yes,
absolutely. Yeah,
you
I'm
are
really looking forward
correct.
to it. I really liked the first series, and I think after we waited so long between drinks between the second movie and the series, I think I'd come to the thing, oh, this just isn't going to continue. And now
Mm,
it's nice that it's keeping up the momentum and the pace. And I think
yeah,
it's one of those series. It doesn't really overstay its welcome. It's a short series, so it's not like, oh, there were 30 of these, I'm done.
yeah,
Like it's yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I'm still up for some more.
Exciting stuff. And from the descent to the ascent, Hatchet and Frozen director Adam Green is making a shark attack movie called The Ascent,
Oh,
described as a survival thriller with sharks. Uh, so yeah, we only covered Frozen just what, month or so ago, maybe a couple of months. Oh, sort of late last year. Um, so yeah, I think Hatchet is probably a film we should do as well, Andy. We should get around
Yeah,
to
I'm
that
up for
eventually.
Hatchet.
But yeah, Adam Green making a shark attack movie. That sounds pretty exciting. I don't think I need anything else. I don't need a synopsis. I don't need any other details other than that. But I
that's
will give you a synopsis, seeing as you asked nicely. A group of friends who arrive in Europe for a glamorous but daring destination wedding. The fun and games turn into a nightmare when they find themselves precariously suspended above shark-infested waters in a battle for survival. Basically, he's taken the premise of, Frozen, stuck in a
yeah,
place up high. Yeah,
Yeah, Frozen, aka eaten by wolves in
yeah.
brackets.
yeah,
Well, what would happen if you fell? Your legs would obliterate. They just turn to dust.
Yeah,
Imagine you were
absolutely
falling.
get spaghettied.
Imagine you were falling into shark-infested water. I mean,
Initially, better. You'd be like, oh, it has come a bit sharp. My belly flopped on that thing a bit. I'm going to be red raw when I get out of this water. But my legs are not smashed, which
yeah.
is good.
yeah.
Hang
But then
about.
you would. But then
Sharks down here.
you would be potentially torn to shreds
Yeah.
in a similar way, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably.
it's a
I
concept
don't
that
know. Maybe being eaten by a shark is just like going to sleep. I've never done it.
I imagine
Find it
it's
out now.
no. I don't want to find out. I feel like, but if it either situation, Frozen or that one, I think I'd take the Frozen out of that. Sharks, I'm not into it.
I don't know. I think you could try your best if you knew if someone said, right, Ben,
Punch
Jigsaw
a shark
style,
on the
this is the
nose.
choice. you being chucked to one of these. I think if you've been chucked in the water and a shark was going to eat you, could try your very, very best to drown super quickly. Just get in the water and be like, just try and drown before they
It
get you.
seems also like a terrible way to go.
Whereas wolves, what are you going to do? Try and suffocate yourself in the snow, like shove your face
I
in
reckon
there.
I'll take him on Liam Neeson style, like in the grey with his
Oh,
tiny
Hulk
little.
Oh, I
cans,
love that
Hulk
film.
cans made of mini bottles of whiskey.
Yeah.
If there was a mini bar nearby, which there isn't, unfortunately, just have little mini bar bottles and come on then, you little wolf bastards.
Wolverine yourself.
Yeah, I think either. To be fair, I'm not a fan of either, but you know the ascent. So they're up and they're gonna fall down. Okay,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
I mean, that sounds like if they did mention it was a luxurious but daring destination wedding. That is a
Yeah.
very daring
You're
destination.
gonna get married over these man-eating sharks. Yeah, why not?
The Instagram likes will pay for the whole event. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Can't we just get married at the church down the road from where my parents live? No.
Absolutely not.
Well,
Um,
Grandma's not going to be able to travel out to this event wedding. It's important my family's there.
she ate sharks.
Famously. Well, it's just time for your nan to get over a prejudice, isn't it? I'm not sure this marriage is going to work out.
No, it's not going to work out. Everyone's going to die at the end of this film, The Ascent, anyway, so don't worry about it. And one more piece of horror news from me. Bad Boy. That's not me just calling you that, Andy. I know you like to be called that. It's your normal. It's actually your nickname. Ki Huai Kwan is starring in a horror movie told from a dog's perspective.
Oh,
Yes, yeah.
Just let that sit for a second. I'm assuming the titular bad boy is an evil dog or a man-eating dog or a Cujo-like dog, and we
Yeah.
see him roaming around, ripping people to shreds. Is Ki Hu Kwan gonna be the dog,
the bad
or is
boy.
it someone being chased by the dog? Probably.
Or is it going to be like the present style? If it's from the POV of the dog, we're just never going to see him. It's just going to be a camera snooting about.
That'd be good. That'd be good. A new breed of genre film that charts a young woman's fight to escape a deadly serial killer through the eyes of a man's best friend, his faithful dog. Oh,
Oh, so he's a serial killer's dog.
so he's a serial killer's dog. Yeah,
So maybe the bad boy is the serial killer.
yeah.
And obviously,
Interesting.
bad boy is probably the worst thing a dog like.
Uh,
A dog thinking you're a bad boy, it'd be like, I'm not going to repeat it on this podcast. What if a
No.
human thought that's what you were?
It looks like Hugh Kwan is the killer.
There
Oh.
you go.
I'll give you one. I'll give you one guess what the dog's called. It's a
Rover.
the dog's
Rex.
name. The dog's name
Yeah.
is Gary.
Gary!
Bloody hell, Gary!
Gary
Get
the dog. I
yourself
love this film already.
indoors. Yeah. Gaz. Maybe they call him Gaz for short. Maybe it's set in it's set in Newcastle. It's set in and around the Foggy Tyne. And and Gaz is a serial killer's dog. I'd watch that. I mean, I
Revenge
watched
of the
this as
Gary
well.
Gang, like that episode of Only Fools and Horses where they kidnap that man.
Don't remember that one, but
It's one of the newer ones where they go on a booze cruise
a lovely
and they
deep cut
trap
there.
a worker at a wine
Oh.
warehouse in the thing, and then they're trying to talk to him and say all they say to him is Gary, and then there's a bit later on the news where it's like wanted the Gary Gang.
How do we feel about POV films though? Because I know obviously you mentioned Presence, which came out like a couple of weeks ago. The only one I can think of, what was that one where it was like the action film with was it Henry something
Guns
Henry?
Akimbo.
Was it called?
No, Guns Akimbo is the one with Daniel Radcliffe.
No,
where he's got
it's with
guns
Sharlto
sellotape to his
Copley.
hands.
Hardcore
Yes,
Henry.
it is Hardcore Henry.
Hardcore Henry. So that
Okay.
was like a POV like action film, wasn't it? Yeah, I mean it's all right. It's a bit of a gimmick, isn't it? Like there was that segment in Doom as well, which was, you know, pretty cool.
best bit.
But do you want to watch an old bloody film of that? Maybe.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to that. Any other horror news, Andy, at all?
Nothing else from me, Ben. Just apart from, unless we didn't share this last time, bit of gaming horror news. It's a week out of date now, but you know what? Share it in case you've missed it. The good folks at GOG, Good Old Games, Have brought Ben's dreams to life once again. They have made accessible on modern computers both Dino Crisis games with some quality of life improvements in the year of our Lord that once again dinosaurs are back in another Jurassic World film.
Hell
Horror
yes.
adjacent, because dinosaurs will eat you as well as a
Well,
shark or a bad boy would.
talking of, I mean, that's obviously great news. I don't mean to make that, I
A
don't mean to
sideline.
sideline. Has everybody seen the new Jurassic Park trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some sort of bloody horrible mutant dinosaur in it with like, it looks like a Rancor from Star Wars.
That's
This
what
is
they've even described it as, like they've wanted to make it like the Rancor.
this is horrible. Terrifying. I mean, T-Rex is scary enough, but I feel like in recent films they've like made out, oh, the T-Rex, oh,
He's a
it'll
goodie. She's
fight
a
that
goodie.
other one, the big scary one, if you just let it out and run with a flare. This time, some sort of weird, horrible, creepy. Are we gonna get two-headed dinosaurs as well? I feel like I saw one in a tank,
In a tank?
like a.
Oh, I thought you meant like in a tank, like it was in the army.
I would. I mean, these are all great ideas. I feel like these are what the pitch. These calls are what the when they pitch a new Jurassic Park film is what they do. They get
It's
on
like
a
that
company
Key
up.
and Peele Gremlins 2
Yeah, they go,
video.
"Well, a dinosaur but in a tank. That's great. Do you remember the rumors about there being like humanoid dinosaur hybrids in a
That
new
really was a
Jurassic Park
script for the
film?
second one, I think, at a
It was a
time.
script for the second one,
Oh
yeah.
my God.
But the closest we got was that bit in Jurassic Park 3 where he has a dream and he goes, Alan.
Alan.
Wakes him up.
I love that. I love that someone animated that or moved that animatronic
Yeah.
Velociraptor head.
Alan.
Anyway, this looks. You know, people go, "Oh, all the Jurassic Park films have been rubbish," but I'm like, yeah, but I want that. I don't
Yeah,
want. I
all
don't
the
want rubbish, but I want Jurassic Park films. You know, if someone went, "Oh, here's a lovely ice cream sundae," oh, it's a bit
oh, it's
melted
a bit the
though.
same,
Don't
isn't it?
care.
Oh, sorry, I don't want any more vanilla ice creams. That's why it's the best flavor, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do see people who say, "Oh, the Jurassic Park films have not been as good of the since the original," and that's a really high bar to climb. So I will respectfully say, I can see your point, but shut up, right?
yeah,
Dinosaurs in films are what pizza is to food. Like even a mediocre pizza is better than 90% of all other food available. The
Yep.
same is true of a Jurassic Park film.
I think you're right.
Yep, I concur.
Yeah, but yeah, Dino Crisis news, very fun. I've got Dino Crisis on. I think they put it on the PlayStation Store, so I've got that, but not number two. So I will be checking that
Number
out
two
as
is a
well.
bit more arcadey, right?
Yeah, very action heavy. You can like rack up high scores and stuff. So
That's my
yeah,
main memory of playing Dino Crisis 2, obsessively staying in one corridor and trying to level up my
yeah,
weapons for about an hour.
definitely not the way you're supposed to play it, Andy. Enjoy yourself for once. Okay.
No, I must do this perfectly. I must somehow turn this thing designed for fun into work of some kind.
Exactly. Okay. What we've been watching in the last 7 days or previously, I mean, I will come to you, Janine. I feel like what you're going to say is action, 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 which is fine. We can also discuss that. If you've seen anything horror related as well, then great. But is there anything you've seen recently that you wanted to recommend or maybe condemn? Not that that's your style.
Don't do that. Annoyingly, I have actually watched two horror films this week, which I don't watch as much as usual, and they're
Nice.
both for reviews and one's embargoed, so I can't actually talk about it.
Oh,
Oh, no spoilers.
But
good squirrel.
I can say what they were. There was one called Boneface, which
Bone Face, I saw the poster of that.
yeah, it's like a really weird, intriguing poster, and basically the premise is that it's a slasher, but instead of focusing on the slasher and like the carnage, it's afterwards, and it's like a whodunit. So
Okay.
like a
Okay.
couple of like a sheriff and a deputy in a diner with a
Interesting.
load of people who one of them they think is the murderer, and they're trying to work out who it is. So basically if you go into it like wanting Friday the 13th, you're going to be massively disappointed. But if you understand or you know what you're going into, then it's not too bad. It's a different twist on a different look at it. So
I saw the poster. I'm interested to see Bone Face.
yeah.
I guess it seems like a lot of people now are sort of taking the slasher premise and trying to put some kind of a new spin on it. Um, Not that the slasher premise is bad in any way, but I guess like we've seen a lot of slashers, so it's good to see a different sort of a premise. Did you see In a Violent Nature, Janine? From the point of view of what was his name, Andy?
Oh, I don't remember his
No,
name
I
now.
haven't.
Matey.
I haven't seen it. I was just trying to think where it's the one where there's a lot of walking involved, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's tons of walking. He's getting his steps right
I've
in.
seen all the kills like on YouTube or something like that. So I like the one where somebody gets like yogurt in half and all.
Oh yeah,
that stuff.
yogurt in half. That is
Absolutely
exactly
yogurt.
what happens.
Yeah.
He's been yogurt. She's been
Yeah.
yogurt.
So
To
I
be
don't need to
fair,
watch it now.
if you wanted to skip, the rest of it is just walking. So
It's like Lord of the Rings. There's so much walking.
yeah, you just speed run the film pretty much. That's it. What's that? Cut out of the walking.
That's it.
Um,
I also watched a film. This one's the one with the embargo on, called Die Alone, which is
Okay.
the best way I can describe it is another like post-apocalyptic kind of thing. So another like Last of Us type
Ah.
movie.
For any reason, did you watch that because Frank Grillo's in it?
Yes. 100%. Yeah, that's literally. So with film hounds, particularly, if there's a Scott Adkins or a Frank Grillo film, I don't even get asked. I'm like, right, Janine, this is yours. And I'm like,
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not mistaken.
Carrie-Anne Moss as well.
Scott Adkins is the Accident Man, isn't he?
yes.
Accident
Yeah.
Man is so fun. It's
Oh,
really good.
definitely. Yeah. All this stuff's amazing.
He is good. Anything else, Janine? that you want to
And
mention?
then the only other almost horror-y thing, but it's more excuse me, sci-fi really, is I watched a film called Beyond a Skyline. Have you seen any of the Skyline series?
I've seen Skyline.
Okay.
That's the first one, isn't it?
Yes.
So I've not seen Beyond Skyline. I didn't even know there
Okay.
was a Beyond Skyline.
Right. So I haven't seen Skyline, but really weirdly, I found it in a charity shop this week. So I was
Okay,
like, right,
okay.
I'll try that. But the reason why I watched Beyond Skyline, and I had seen it previously a while ago, is because I just got it on DVD. And again, it's got Frank Grillo in it. And this is actually directed.
Okay.
This is actually directed by my friend Liam O'Donnell, who was EP on Charlie Foxtrot. So
Nice.
supporting
Oh
Liam.
wow. Okay.
And it's basically it's a simple enough story, like aliens are attacking, and the people have got to fight against them, kind of stuff. Iko Uwais is in it as well, who's absolutely amazing. Iko from The Raid and all of those kind of films. And there's some good fight scenes in there. There's a kind of like a really good scene at the end where there's like always like the aliens are inside like kaiju kind of thing. So there's always
yeah.
a Pacific Rim type fight at the end. It's very low budget, so again, like if you kind of like accept that the CGI isn't going to be the best in the world, but I think if you go into these films with those kind of expectations of knowing they're not like massive Hollywood budgets, you sort of forgive those bits and pieces. It was filmed over in Jakarta as well, which is pretty cool, and it's good.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was the second one, and then Skyliners, I think, is the third one, which focuses on a character from the second one. And then Liam's just finished filming last year the fourth one, which is called Skyline Warpath.
Yeah,
and Scott's in that one. Scott's in that.
Nice.
Oh, Scott's in that one. Okay. He's on the
that
warpath.
sounds fun. I think I'm only vaguely aware of the original Skyline. That's the one where the aliens are very blue color coded, right? And you mustn't look at the blue because it makes you go funny in the first one anyway. And it's not the one which came out at a similar time, Battlefield LA, that has Kel from Keenan and Kel fame in it.
Kel from Keenan and Kel. And what's his name? Two-Face from The Dark Knight. What was his name? That guy.
Oh,
I hate
Aaron
doing this, I'm
Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart. Look at that. Pulled from
AKA Aaron Eckhart, who in my head I have to do I have to work out who he isn't. It's like a whole Robert Palmer, Peter Gabriel thing. You have to do the one to get to the other. So
He was
not Thomas Jane,
other,
Aaron Eckhart.
he's in every other action film as well. He's another one of those guys on like everything.
I, Frankenstein. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember I Frankenstein.
What if there was a Frankenstein just in a hoodie? Well, Well, you will find out. Aaron,
I
and
Frankenstein. He's a goodie in a hoodie.
he's a goodie in a hoodie, and his name is Adam. Bit
Yeah.
confusing on set. Aaron, Adam, Aaron. Sorry. Um, okay, Andy, have you seen anything this week? I think we've seen one of the same thing.
We've seen one and the same thing, Ben. But before we talk about that,
Yes.
what about I tell you a tale of my next adventure with Friday the 13th, the
Oh
series?
yes, I've been looking forward to this.
Episode 3. So
One a week.
after the first one a week, I will be at it for about a year and a half at that rate. So, after our last two adventures, I'm not going to recap the whole series every time, but we've had a couple of episodes so far. It's about our new antique shop owners, cousins, Mickey and Ryan, which doesn't necessarily gender them. Mickey is the woman. Mickey and Ryan and Old Man John, after their adventures with the horrible dolly and the poison pen letter that penny crayons people to death, there's another episode. And in episode 3, there is a Cupid statue the horrible incel bloke has got, and it shoots women with an arrow that make them fall in love with him. And then, because it's a cursed object, it doesn't just make them fall in love. After they've gone back to his hotel room and slept with him, he does have to do a murder on them.
Do a murder on them.
This series goes from strength to strength. Honestly, it is bananas. I'm going to say this, Ben. 3 episodes in.
Yeah.
I don't say this lightly. Strap in. You know, one of those gifts you get. There's like, a horror opinion that's going to get you like this, and all those people have got swords at this throat.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to say it. Get ready. Better than the X-Files. Better.
Oh come on.
Oh, shut up.
Better than the X-Files.
Come
I love
on.
it. I love it so much. It is if the X-Files through the lens of diagnosis murder, because it's really cheesy. You would feel it's like a Goosebumps thing, except there are actual like scary things that are in it, and like murders.
The concepts
like one
for each
bloke.
of these.
It's not just horrible violence against women. This guy who's like he's made this woman fall in love, and they go out to one of those make out spots. You know, again, like we said last week, that's just dogging. It's less romantic when you think about it that way. But after they've slept together in the car, she's like, "Oh, I love you," and he goes, and then the curse of the statue comes to life. He goes, "Oh, I'm just nipping out for a wee." A creative way he gets to get rid of his date in the murder of this film. Just turns up with a bee's nest and wangs it through the window of the car.
I mean, that wouldn't necessarily confirm someone would die, though, would it? Wanging a bee's nest at them. I feel like.
I think he shakes it up first.
Yeah, but still, like.
Really mad, yeah.
Oh, what could I do? Could I just bludgeon someone to death? Bee's nest.
Yeah.
To be fair, the concepts of each one of these episodes sound so good that they could be like a movie. Like if you told me that was a movie concept that you've just come up with, I'd go, "That's great."
Yeah, it is so mad. And what I like about it is Old Man John, who is their friend who helps them out. He's just always coming up with like wacky disguises and schemes. That's what I think. That's the Dick Van Dyke bit. So basically, the statue has found its way into a frat house. And they're having like a party. And they're like, "Oh, how are we going to find out which one of them's got this statue?" So he poses as a barman that's working this party and just puts sodium pentothal in all the drinks. So then all these people are off their faces and they can't lie to him and say, "Have you seen one of these statues?" "Oh, yeah, he's got it." And then there's a guy sitting there going, "I didn't want to go to law school, but my dad said he wouldn't support me getting a career in the arts." It is
easy.
mad.
I love YouTube.
I love Friday the 13th, the series. Yeah, I'm going to continue watching these. I got some messages from some folks that listen saying, "I love this program growing up." I don't believe it's passed me by all these years. So join me again next week, everyone, when I'll tell you what Mickey and Ryan and John have been up to in episode 4.
I'm well up for this. I love it. It's almost
Get stuck in, but don't watch it faster than me, Ben. All right, you can catch up with me.
Do that. One a
But
week.
after that, one a week.
One a week, and if you have more than one a week, you greedy bastard.
Yeah, unless it's a two-parter, because I have seen later in the series there are a couple of two-parters in there. That's okay.
I thought you were going to deliver like some sort of like mildly hot take, but to go and pull out that it's better than the X-Files.
It is. I would say it's already better than the weaker seasons of the X-Files. I don't care about conspiracies. Put a monster on.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no, that guy with the cigarettes. Don't worry, mate. He'll sort himself out. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, Mulder's gone, and now it's Terminator. No.
Yeah. Oh, my bloody sister. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm joining in. Sorry.
Get haunted,
Poor Mulder.
get an haunted Cupid.
Poor Mulder.
Yeah, get
Should we?
stuck in on that, everybody. That series from the 80s that's definitely old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, we've watched one film both together. We have both seen Companion, correct?
We've
Uh,
both seen Companion. Yes, we have. It's just, do you know what? It's a shame I didn't know more about this. So I feel like it probably could have warranted a full episode. But I literally knew nothing about this to the point where I'd avoided trailers, reading anything about it. To the point where, like I guess the crux of it, like the real key plot point of it, I didn't even know. It was brand new information for
Did
me.
you know that had been spoiled for me in the trailer? Janine, before we spoil it for you, have you seen or do you know about
Let's not
Companion?
spoil it.
I
No.
I know what it is. I haven't seen it, and I don't know anything about it. So
Okay. Let's
Keep
try
it
and talk
that
about it
way.
without spoiling it, Andy. Can we do that?
Yes.
He looks unsure. He's like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa,
we
whoa.
can. We can. Like I
right,
did
I'm
know.
not going to watch it for ages. So go ahead.
But I
No,
feel like
I'm not going to
I
for anyone there who hasn't seen it. 'Cause
yeah,
I
I
think
feel like for listeners, because it was a great experience for me to, like, it doesn't happen to me much because I do, even though I try my best to avoid trailers, I'm still like reading stuff about films and
Yeah.
seeing things on social media. So I tend to have my finger on the pulse. But for this one, I think they showed the trailer when I was watching another film, and I was like, perfect time to have a little wee wee. Forget this. Don't pay attention to the trailer. And then even so, that when my wife Charlie suggested we go and watch it, I was a bit like, what? What kind of film is that? Companion. Oh, what is it? Like some sort
what's
of
going to be like Atonement, is it?
yeah, because
God.
it said like from the creators of the Notebook, doesn't it? Like
Does
on the
it?
poster. So I think someone involved in Barbarian was involved in it, but also maybe someone else who was involved in the Notebook.
Oh, it's the
So
director of Barbarian,
so
right?
they've come at it from two different angles to try and get horror fans and I guess romance film fans confused and into the cinema. Companion sounds lovely, which is what I was worried about.
Yeah.
And I know it picked up a lot of traction from, I think it was part of a lot of cinema chains in the UK at very least. They had it as like a secret cinema job,
Yeah,
where it
secret
was like,
screening thing.
you're
Yeah,
going to see a film, it's a 15, go along. And it was a surprise. And I know a lot of people seem to really enjoy it from that, which is when I first heard about it,
yeah.
in fact. Um, yeah, no spoilers here. I think if you don't know anything about it and you're listening to us now, go and see it.
Mm.
Is it my week for hot takes, Ben? I think it is my high bar of films for this year so far.
I don't think that's the hottest of hot takes. I think I saw you say that and I stole it and thought I feel the same. It's like the high. It's
Wow.
even though it's February, I feel like it's the high bar for film
It's
of
the
the
one to beat this year.
the one to beat. Very very good, very funny, very imaginative, creative, very exciting. And Sophie Thatcher, who I've seen in a few things so far, but maybe hasn't quite. I haven't quite grasped what she's about. Heretic, for example, she's in Yellow Jackets. She's in Boogeyman. Is that right? Boogeyman.
She is in the Boogeyman.
This was the film where I went, oh, okay, I get it now. I get it. She's great. So, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that this has
Yeah, I
happened
think
to
she
me.
goes from strength to strength in everything that she's been in so
Yeah, and
far.
and Jack Quaid, I can kind of take or leave him usually and stuff, but I think he's pretty good in this as well.
He's
Um,
pretty good in this, although I feel like Jack Quaid is like he's got to be very careful because he is like really treading the very edge of being like kind of extremely not in his real life. The characters he plays
yeah,
are very, very heavily coded as mediocre white man who thinks the world owes him everything. It's like,
yeah,
be careful that doesn't rub off, mate. I'm sure you're very nice in real life.
yeah,
Insist on playing a nice bloke who's genuinely just nice, just the
yeah,
once.
yeah. So it's great. Recommend it. Maybe we'll put a little review out there. Maybe one of us can write a little review, Andy, and put a little
Yeah,
the
put a few
review.
notes
Again, it's
together.
really difficult not to spoil because I think most people are aware because there was even a couple of bits of marketing that I saw afterwards where I was like, okay, that's obvious then.
The second trailer fully gives it away.
The second trailer fully
The
gives it
second
away, yeah.
trailer fully just
Um,
leans into what it's about.
but still, if you can avoid spoilers, definitely do. Um, anything else at all, Andy? Is that it for you?
No, that's the main thrust of it for today. I have started watching, but I'm not quite finished yet. Uh, in the era of sort of sci-fi, it's not horror at all, but I'm interested enough in it. Watching A Message from Space, which is it's like an international. It does have lots of non-English speakers in it, but it has English speakers as well. So it's in some places dubbed, some places not. riff on Star Wars that came out about a year later. And it
Oh
is
God.
absolutely mad. And I'm I'm enjoying that a great deal. Lots of like model work, lots of very, very specifically if you're I think it was an international thing. If you're of a certain age and used to watch a Saturday morning puppet sort of space opera called Starfleet in the UK, X Bomber if you're in Asia, lots of like aesthetics that are from that, like big, grand, like evil space empire with like almost shogun like armor, and they're going around and they've just literally rocked up to Earth and gone, right, I'm giving you 3 days to surrender. We're taking over. And loads of these space models and like a mismatched group of guys all thrown into it, and they're just having a wicked adventure. I've got about half an hour of it left. I'm having a blast.
Sounds great, man. Sounds great.
I wouldn't
I
say
was
great. It's not better than the X Files, but still pretty
no.
good.
I'll mention two other things real quick. I watched Henry: Portrait of a Serial Killer for the first time. I've never seen that before, with Michael Rooker as Henry, a bloody serial killer. This is like horrible neo-realism. You know, when you watch something and you're like, what's that the other film I'm thinking of? Is it called Man Bites Dog? Like a film that's it could easily be a snuff movie if it
Yeah.
didn't have, opening
Michael Rooker.
credits or various like various angles. There's some bits in this where you're like, oh Jesus, and it's basically just man kills people in different ways, get someone else to help him for a bit, then might start falling in love with this guy's sister. But it's one of those real brutal, just horrible sort of like crime films, I guess. I think it is going to. I think there's a couple of sequels as well. But yeah, it's good. It's in like 80 minutes. And I know a lot of, and it's directed by John McNaughton, who went on to direct Wild Things, with Neve Campbell and Denise Richards. And then I also watched, I don't know, I'm watching stuff that's making me feel all sorts of miserable, but I saw a thread on a thread on Threads talking about like the most disturbing films ever, and a lot of people were
I
talking.
know.
A lot of people were talking about Ari Aster's short film, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Has anybody seen or heard of this?
No.
I'm not going to spoil it because you can find it fairly easily to watch it. It's only 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's pretty messed up. It is pretty messed up. You don't have to worry about, I mean, trigger warnings. I won't say any trigger warnings because again, it might spoil what's happening, but it's not gory. It's not, there's not really anything like that in it, but it is very, very effective. Some really good performances as well, like to the point where I'm like, wow, it's a dark domestic drama about familial ties that bind and the ties that really bind.
Okay.
I will say no more. I will say go away and please watch this. Obviously, Ari Aster, director of Hereditary and Midsummer. But yeah, a lot of people were mentioning it on this thread, so I thought, yeah, I'll go and hunt it down and watch it. And wow,
Just added it to my watch list, Ben, so I can
it's one of those things where I'm
check
like
that out.
surprised he didn't try and get this made into a feature. And then I thought, well, probably, but no one would fund that because
I'm still not quite over the coffee table.
Yeah.
oh my god, yeah. I mean, I t- not quite in the same realms of that. Probably just as effective, but in a completely different way.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. Check it out. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, maybe Andy. See if you've seen it. Sorry, I don't mean to keep doing this to you. I apologize.
Yeah, watch this horrible thing.
It's this horrible thing. But I'll tell you what, something else is pretty horrible, depending
Go on.
on what your tolerance levels are for it. Film of the week.
Seven.
Yeah, I'm glad you know what it is, Andy. I'm glad you.
Can you imagine that? Watch something completely different.
Film of the week.
Mathregan.
8. Film of the week. 8 Eyes. Silence of the Lambs. I watched it. Um. Okay, so I can't remember. Was this? Did you suggest this, Janine? Did we just? I can't remember how we got around to doing this.
Because I suggested doing 7 for the book, your book.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yes. And it just so happened that I went to see the 30th anniversary screening of it as well. So it's just turned 30. But also, I guess it's one of those films that has always got a question mark next to it. Is it a horror film? Is it just like a crime thriller? Is it? I don't know. And I mean, we've done Congo on this podcast, so I'm sure we can do 7, right?
Action sci-fi drama horror film, Congo.
Action, sci-fi, drama, horror film, Congo. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so um, what have we got in terms of ratings? I mean, obviously this is a classic. This is a powerhouse. This is David Fincher's first feature after Alien 3. Oh, is that right?
After Alien 3, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why I said first feature after that, but Alien 3. It felt like his first feature.
Yeah.
Alien 3, obviously. Oh, can you direct Alien 3 for me? Oh, yeah, go on. Why not?
But you do have to report to the board every
Yeah.
single day, and they're going to get you to change everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a Seven. It's a 1995 American crime thriller film directed by David Fincher. It stars Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, and John C. McGinley is listed as one of the main ones as well. I think he's just a SWAT guy, wasn't he? Well, I don't know why he's listed. Set in an unnamed crime-ridden city. Is that true? I was just assumed it was New York.
Yeah.
Is it unnamed?
It's never named.
It's never named, no. And that's interesting because my husband also said, I presume that it's New York, whereas I presumed it was Seattle because of the rain.
Yeah, probably because of the
It's
rain.
never named.
I think I presumed it was New York, just the way everyone spoke about it. That it was this, and like, I don't feel that way about New York, but I know like in some media, especially like crime thrillers and stuff, the city, the horrible city, the city stinks, that sort of stuff gets talked about a lot. And I don't know, I just kind of felt like that was the vibe. But yeah, it follows nearly retired Detective Lieutenant William Somerset and his newly transferred partner David Mills as they try to stop a serial killer from committing a series of murders based on the 7 deadly sins. Complicated, isn't it? Oh, what, you're going to do some murders? Yep. And they're all going to be based on the 7 deadly. I can't even begin to imagine the moving parts of keeping this all going. Like, at one point, he's got to at least have about 5 people, like, kidnapped or captive that he's doing various things to, right?
He's spinning a lot of plates, is old John Doe.
He must have a spreadsheet. Because you just forget, wouldn't you? Oh, I've got to go to that bloke and make him eat all that. Was he eating like tins of spaghetti sauce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's set up like a system, like he's before his time, jigsaw wise. Maybe he's set up, when you put a feeder for a cat and you put it on a timer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Not like a big Wallace and Gromit machine. So like open some more tinnies.
Oh yeah.
The alarm goes off, it falls off the table, pulls a string.
Amazing. Yeah.
Because obviously there's a few he doesn't have to worry about the upkeep of, like I guess Lust. That's just like a one and done in the
Well, I don't know, he has to do the admin, he has to go to that shop, doesn't he?
That's true, he does. Can you make this for me? Sorry? Sorry? Yeah, fine, it'll be done in a week. See you later. In terms of ratings, what we got is 8.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Rotten Tomato score 84% audience, 95% critics. Letterboxd 4.3 out of 5. Some choice reviews on there. I'll tell you what, all of the ones I chose are 5-star reviews because they were the most interesting. But yeah, it's well respected amongst film fans, it seems. Allure says one of the best crime thrillers you ever see, truly ahead of its time. 5 stars. Can you believe it? Sean says it's not a David Fincher film unless there's a thin layer of filth covering every frame. 5 stars. It's pretty filthy, this film. This film, like smell-o-vision, if it was ever invented, would be something you'd avoid.
Yeah, on this city, there's obviously, it can't be New York because I'm pretty sure I've seen a bottle of Mr. Sheen in that city before. Like, get some out, lads. Have a dust around. Run a Hoover about.
Jim Cummings says, outside of the incredible craftsmanship displayed in its filmmaking, it's an incredible character study with perfect fusion of character comedy and detective pornography. 5 stars. Don't know what that means, but I guess just like, just all the stuff going, well, look a little bit closer. Have you looked at it upside down? Like that.
Zoom and enhance on this thing.
And then Preet says, if only I could give this film 7 stars. And they've given it 5 stars. Well, that would go against the very fabric of Letterboxd and its rating system, and it would make a mockery of it.
Listen, mate. I mean, I appreciate the gesture, but if you start with 7 stars, where do we end?
Where do we end?
This is Louis Walsh territory. You're through to the next round, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I'll say to you the same as I'd say to Louis. Unless that's a comparative, mate, it's impossible. 100%.
Like
You can say you're in 1,000% more than the previous person, but
yeah. Oh, I
you
never thought of it
can't
like
do,
that. Of course you can.
don't do percentages more than 100, mate. Don't come
Exactly.
at me like
When
that
a
on
when a
national
footballer is
television.
going, well, we gave it 110%. I go, did you?
Impossible.
You gave 10% more than you physically are capable of giving.
Yeah, what you've done there,
Impossible.
I don't believe a word you've said now.
No.
Actually, all your credibility's out the window. You said an
Exactly.
impossibility. You might as well have said, "Oh, we didn't win today because the sky was green." Just as likely.
It's proper condemning people who say, I gave it 100% today. You go, oh, well, that's that all, was it?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that all
True.
pathetic? Anyway, sorry, we're getting slightly sidetracked. Okay. I feel like this is going to be a real big question, Janine, and it's a question we can answer throughout the rest of the episode. But why do you love this film so damn much?
Go, Janine.
Oh God. Um, it's just perfect. And it's almost hard to describe why it's so perfect because it is just a horrible film about a horrible subject and about horrible things that happen to probably horrible people. But it's just beautiful in the way that it's executed. It's just everything about it is just, and when you've watched it several times and you see all the like extra little Easter eggs and all the things that Fincher's put into it, feeding you all the way along. It's utterly incredible that it's his first film, really. It's just beautiful. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, and some powerhouse performances
Oh
in it
God.
as well. Like probably, I mean, it's up there with probably one of my favorite Morgan Freeman performances.
Yep.
Because old Somerset just seems lovely, doesn't he?
Oh
Just seems
yeah.
absolutely lovely.
Just seems so chill as well.
Just
Like
seems so chill. Going to
he's
the
having a
library all
slightly
night.
busier last week before retirement than he might have hoped for.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's just getting on with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Brad Pitt, bit
Wants to iron his
stressed.
shirt a bit, but
Yeah, bit stressed, bit stressy. Um, to be fair though, he got two dogs, and he likes the dogs, and the dogs like him. I feel like I trust him a lot more knowing that about him.
Yep.
Which is lovely. Gwyneth Paltrow. Um, I don't know. Part of me thinks, is there another cut of this film where she gets a little bit more to do? Potentially. I do like her subplot, and obviously the way she confesses certain things to Morgan Freeman's character. I think that's great. I don't know. Is there another cut? I think the thing is, watching this film with hindsight of knowing exactly where it's going is so different to that first watch,
Yeah.
and you can never capture the intrigue of that first watch. How did I react? Was I like mouth agape, aghast, can't believe what's happening? Did I work it out? Because I can't remember. I don't know. Like when you watch it with hindsight, and that guy turns up on the stairwell taking photos of him,
Yeah.
obviously you're literally like, I know exactly what's going on here. Point, point, point. But when you didn't know that, like it's not obvious at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would anyone have worked that out? I don't know. I think it's really well crafted. It's a great thriller with it's when there's a thriller with so many moving pieces, and Silence of the Lambs is another one because
Yeah.
I guess that gets discussed in the same breath as this film because it's a thriller with horror elements. Yes, when there are so many moving parts that it's like the perfect storm of a
Yeah.
film. Everything has got its place. Every moment has its place, and yeah, I feel like it's such a great film to just enjoy over and over again because, as you mentioned, Janine, when you see those little Easter eggs, when you see those little details that perhaps you didn't notice
Yeah.
the fifth time, and now you're seeing it again, and I'm watching it on the big screen for the first time, and I'm just taking it all in. And the rainiest film of all time, right?
yeah,
It's
it is awfully rainy. Trains run on time though.
yeah, trains run on
Yeah.
time. And if anything, it tells you what's the best way of there's been loads of murders. What's the best way of solving this murder?
Just wait
Basically do something that's against the law. We're not allowed to do this.
a bit.
We're not allowed
Yeah,
to
do
do
something,
this. I'm
do
gonna
something
cross
that's
reference.
against the law, or just ultimately have a wait.
Yeah, have a long wait. Exactly. Check out what he's been taken out of the library. What would your library history have looked like back in those days, Andy? Load of goosebumps.
Oh, very hungry caterpillar, like tons of times when I was really little. To
He's
the
all right,
point where
actually.
I'm not sure whether it was my mom or the librarian that stepped in and said, "You're not actually allowed to take that one out again.
I always feel like in these things, I always feel like if he was so into all those things, he'd own those books.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be like, I'm gonna take these out of the library every day because I love them. Go
Although
buy them.
it is it is something that leans into maybe real world horrors these days, whereas in this film, they don't have probable cause to go to that person's house. They like, what are we even doing here? We're going to have to look around it. We can't say that we looked at his library rentals. I feel now government agencies would not blink twice
Yeah,
at thinking, oh, we've been watching what you've been buying and what you've been doing your Google searches and what
yeah.
bearing in mind that what's a chap's Amanda Knox, who was ultimately found innocent of the crime that she was accused of in Italy, was done in by the media because look at this, dressed as a bloody mummy on in one of her Facebook profile
Is that
pictures.
true?
Yeah, no, I think her boyfriend that was also indicted
Oh
was
yeah,
dressed as
yeah.
a mummy at a Halloween party.
Then they just
In her
go,
picture, she was holding a knife or a sword or
yeah, it
something
was
like
something like
that, but
that, or it was like,
at a
oh,
museum.
she's a bit kinky, so obviously she did it. It was
Well,
like
no,
something like
she
that, wasn't
she
it?
didn't look upset enough when someone asked her in a television interview.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like now, I don't think the authorities would find it an invasion of privacy at all to be looking at what's on
All you
your
got to do is
library
find
checkout list.
find a lady and pay her off and say, tell the police that you saw a dodgy bloke. You saw a dodgy bloke. She's like, yeah, yeah. I like how he's literally feeding her every line of what to say
Oh yeah.
while she's there with the police. It's
Yeah.
so dodgy, but I like it.
Yeah, that corrupt thing is they do all those, they jump through all those hoops to eventually make it stick, but everyone else they meet, especially early in the film, is so disinterested in solving any crimes. Like the
Mm.
guy he meets outside the first murder scene is like, he's dead as I didn't fucking check. Like it's
Yeah,
the
I didn't
ones.
check his pulse. What, is he dead? Well, he looks dead.
Yeah.
I mean, David
And also
Fincher.
the rudest men. Like that man who's like the fella that's dead, the sloth guy. Why would he go close to someone and go, "You bloody deserved it"? All right.
Oh yeah. It's weird that it almost feels like to me the way they treat like all the victims is because in this city is nothing new.
Yeah.
It's just a day. It's just the day job. This happens every single day, and obviously Morgan Freeman's character, old Somerset, is completely over it. He's like, I hate this place. It's a
Yeah,
shithole.
just want to retire, want to move
Get
to
me
the
out of
farm.
here.
Yeah.
On his first night when we first saw him, I was like, tell you what, I know you put your ticker on so you can go to sleep. You know, I'd help you go to sleep even more than that. Turn the bloody lights off and lie down properly.
Come on.
Sometimes I struggle to sleep when I'm sat bolt upright in bed with all the lights on.
Do you
Some
feel
people
like?
sleep in their clothes in this film as well. What are you doing? I'm just
Oh
sleeping fully
yeah.
clothed.
Well, that's the thing. Again, it's a bit cliche, and it's like police detectives in the hard-boiled world of stuff like this. Police detectives, they live and breathe their job. They got no time for anything else. They sleep in their clothes. They sleep sat up. They self-medicate. Um, yeah. Do you feel like William Somerset? He sees in Mills. He like sees himself when he first started the job, like the green, like the person who was like really hungry to get his teeth into the job, and now he's been ground down by it years and years and years. He's almost like he's just got no time for Mills because Mills is quite he's young obviously, but um he's quite
He's
career
hungry to
driven,
like
isn't he?
prove himself, right? Because he says many times like, "Oh, I've solved big cases. I've dealt with murders in the country," and he specifically requested to get transferred to like the most horrible
Can you
place.
transfer me to the horrible city where people are dying every day? Well, what? Because you solved that one shoplifter case.
Yeah,
And
he's basically the opposite of Simon Pegg's character in Hot Fuzz.
yeah.
So he wants to go. He goes, "Oh, I want to go and be like this wicked policeman over here. I'm stuck in the countryside."
Mm.
That is that. Maybe if we look at more parallels, that is the opposite film.
That's amazing.
It is the opposite film, yeah, exactly. Do you remember the first time you saw this film, Janine?
I was 15 when it came out, so not at the cinema, but I don't think it was that long after.
Mm.
But I can't quite remember if I saw Seven or Fight Club first, because I think there was only like 3 years between them. But I remember being blown away by it.
Yeah. Do you know if you saw? Obviously, we will get to the reveal, the twist, the big twist, the thing everyone talks about. Do you
Yeah.
think you saw it coming in any way?
Hand on heart, I can't remember. I
Yeah, I think
honestly
so.
can't remember, but I feel like it was a shock.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those that you start to work it out as it's as he explains,
Yeah,
as Kevin Spacey begins to explain. You go, oh, hang on a minute.
yeah,
Wait,
Yeah.
constantly, I'm just like, Brad Pitt, just bloody listen to him.
Yeah. Or don't listen to him. Like
Yeah,
listen
listen
to
to him or don't listen to him. It's almost like, yeah, it is. It is horrific, and I feel like if I got the chance to experience it all over again, I'd love to. I feel like it would be one of those films I would choose as the, you know, people talk about major twists and stuff. Was Jigsaw getting up out in the middle of the bathroom? Oh, it was him all along. But this is
yeah,
just brutal because just watching it play out in front of you
yeah,
and realizing that it's not just a thing that's happening, it's part of the plan, it's part of the whole twisted spreadsheet he's got.
yeah.
It's I also wonder, like, do you think he just added to the plan as he went along and went, who am I going to get down for
Well,
MV?
you wouldn't have known Brad Pitt at the beginning, so
No, exactly.
you had to adjust it towards the end.
Who am I
yeah,
going to get down for Envy and Raph? He's just like we mentioned, he's fast approaching the deadline. He's got 7 people to kill, and he's got no one in the can for Raph and Envy. What's he going to do?
Yeah. I bet his thoughts after that all come together. I bet he was like proper Hannibal from the A Team. Love it when a plan comes together. He's done it.
Yeah.
He just sits there. And it is, we'll cover the end when we get there, but like I imagine some of his thoughts are just like I've nailed this.
yeah,
He's done it. I always used to feel like maybe the end was a bit rushed because I almost felt like I enjoyed the thrill of the chase, and him just turning up and being like, and obviously it is iconic. Him going detectives, it is great. But I feel like the problem I had with it is it always felt like it got to that ending a bit quicker than I wanted it to, despite it being like what is it, just a 2-hour movie or something like that.
yeah.
Um,
2 and 5, something like that.
yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it gets there a little bit quick, fast tracks. The way it kind of like delivers these murders as like sort of episodic
Yeah.
moments. We find another body. We're gonna work it out. We're gonna pick apart the evidence and stuff. Yeah. I mean, does it impact you even more so, Janine, with having experience in the police force as well?
Yeah, again, first time I would have seen it, I wouldn't have been in the police, but I would have been going through sort of like if I was at uni, then I was doing criminology to get into the police. So
Mm.
always had that background. But yeah, watching it now, having thankfully never experienced anything like that in Swindon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? In
Can you imagine
Swindon?
if this was the reveal? Well, I tell you, actually, if there's a film
Unnamed
about me, it
city.
would have been called 12. Because it's even harder.
We're in.
Yeah,
We're in.
definitely. You can I can relate to like the frustration like that Brad Pitt has. When he's like he knows he needs to get into the house and they
Mm.
haven't got the probable cause and all of that kind of stuff. You really feel for them, and it's interesting through the film how kind of like they go from being very much, especially Morgan Freeman, like very much on the record, like he's not going to do anything wrong, to going through to like with the slipping the money to the FBI agent, to actually actively like bribing a witness to to be able
Yeah.
to do all of those kind of things. It's like the further that they go through, the more desperate they're getting, so they're actually breaking the law as well.
Yeah.
They could justify it, but they're still doing that, right to the very end. And I know that there was about 4 or 5 different endings of like different
Oh.
things that happened until Fincher was happy with the ending that they ended up with. But there was all kinds of different sort of like at one point Somerset actually kills John Doe instead.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've
So,
heard about that
so
one. Yeah.
yeah, so that
Almost. I don't know. Part of me feels like
Spite
sorry.
him.
No.
yeah, but also so that David doesn't get in trouble. It doesn't want Mills to do it.
Yeah. It's almost like. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, but it almost feels like now you've said it. It feels like a bit of a a more well-rounded ending. Like I'd like to see how that panned out because it's almost like Somerset has become so disenfranchised with the job, and he's almost like he sees himself in that person, and then he sees that person's life unraveling in front of him, and he almost like saves him in a way where
Yeah.
he's like, "This is obviously a terrible thing that's happened, but I'm 1 week from retirement, 1 day from retirement. I'll take the rap. I don't mind as long as they let me have my little metronome in the clink. Then it's fine."
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like that because it is a very it's a very dejecting like ending, isn't it? You do go, God, that's a lot.
Yeah. I can see both ways because it's almost like the symmetry of the film, the seven murders only work if they play out in that sense, and that's the way that it closes. But like it does feel like that is a very that almost exists as the perfect alternate cut of the ending. Like it would be good. Like it's a wonderful thing for that to either be written about, or even if it was filmed, for us to see. Well, what would this be if it did go the other way? I think the original ending has to exist for the others to be such powerful alternatives.
Yeah. There are a few alternative endings I've got listed here, but let's talk about them when we talk about the ending, and we can talk about, how it would potentially pan
How
out.
everything
Is
gets
this
there.
is this your favorite Fincher film, Janine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy, do you think it's your favorite? Have you got another one?
Well, it might well be. Let me remind myself what else, because I don't want to be like, yes, absolutely
So I
better
f-
than the X Files,
so
and
I
then
think teenage me was all about Fight Club. So I
Mhm.
think I was just like, yeah, Fight Club's the best one. It's the one I like the most. Absolutely. But as I've got older, I think I do gravitate a lot to Seven. I did really, really like Zodiac.
Yeah.
yeah,
For some reason, I think I didn't realize Panic Room was Fincher for a while because I guess like when I was a lot younger watching films, I wasn't always bang up to speed on who was directing what.
Mm.
So I did really enjoy Panic Room at the time.
I
Um,
quite liked Panic Room. Panic Room I haven't seen for a long time, but is very good.
Yeah.
I was really surprised by how much I liked The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, considering I was like, well, that doesn't need to be remade, but it's really good. It
Yeah,
really is.
it's a
Like I
really
feel
good
like
version of it, isn't it?
Mm.
it's a really good version. I think it might be the definitive version of it because again, what's good is that you don't feel like you need additional films as well. Even though I think maybe they were on the slate at one point, but yeah.
I might have to gun to my head, Brad Pitt in this movie style. I might go Zodiac as being my favorite David
Oh
Fincher film.
yeah. I mean, I feel like Zodiac and Seven have got two of the best scenes in like thrillers
Yeah,
ever.
it's the
I feel
it's the
like
bit in the basement with all. That's my handwriting. I write all
I
those.
wasn't even thinking the bit in the basement, Andy. That bit's great. I was thinking the bit where he just ties up that couple at the side of the lake.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrific. Yeah, and that's similar. Um, but yeah, he's a great director, and he got his start in music videos as well, didn't he?
That's right. And commercials. Yeah.
Commercials, yeah, which I guess is the way that I feel like the opening credits of this film. They're like, so in your head you go, opening credits for Seven. Yeah, you can imagine all these things sort of happening, all these like stylized, blood drops and various like lens flares and burns and stuff. It's got to be a Nine Inch Nails song, hasn't it? And then
Yeah.
when it was playing out, I was like, oh yeah, it actually is. I didn't. It actually is. Like it's like the perfect mid 90s. It's just like everything comes together
Yeah.
in this moment, and it's been so often replicated. I feel like so many films of, and even just films with opening credits have tried to replicate this. I feel like these opening credits they became the kind of like, well, I guess like we discussed Hostel, like the torture porn genre. The opening credits tried to recreate this all the time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Close-ups of traps, close-ups of various horrible things, set to a similar sort of song.
doesn't matter if if you're a bone collector,
Yeah, all
this
that
kind
stuff.
of you're getting this kind of setup. And as we get introduced to the horrible city, where I mean, quick poll: we've all seen this film. If you live in the crime-ridden city of Seven, What's the best job to have?
What's the best job to have in the crime-ridden city of Seven?
Yeah.
Something working from home. Just get out, just nice and
Absolutely
safe.
not. You know what it is?
Go on.
Night shift at the library.
Oh God!
Oh,
my
yeah.
God!
Have all your mates
They're
round.
living the dream. These guys. Six
Nothing to
dudes.
do.
They got the tunes on. They got the cards. First of all, what's happening in this library where there need to be 6 of them?
Yep, I thought that.
There's lots of precious books.
I feel like if I was Morgan Freeman, I feel like he wants to live that life.
His retirement, they all seem to like you. I bet they put a word in.
Yeah,
Yep.
go and hang out with them. Yeah, you are right. Absolutely, you're correct. That is the best one. I don't reckon anyone's
Janine,
getting
maybe
killed in
this
the
is the one
library.
to check in with you. Obviously, during your time with the police force, what are the folks down at Swindon Library like after hours? Are they?
Do you ever get a late night call from?
Yeah, no. I think it closes at like 4 o'clock, and that's it.
Yeah.
So basically, in the summertime, they're doing that before it's even dark.
Yeah, loving life.
Oh, library's closed. Get your poker out. Come on.
Yeah.
So we have mentioned the cast, but Brad Pitt's David Mills, Morgan Freeman, William Somerset, Gwyneth Paltrow's Tracy Mills. It says here, Detective Mills' lonesome wife. I mean, that feels like a bit of an unfair description. I mean, move to a new city.
Yeah, but also hang out with you. I'm not saying that it's his fault that John Doe gets his wife ultimately, but I think the only wife in a film similar to this that's quite as neglected is Keanu Reeves in The Devil's Advocate. Like he does, he's like, "Well, you're on your own. See ya," and he.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, Where are you sleeping tonight? You didn't come home. Yeah, I slept nuzzled into Morgan Freeman all night. Did you? Yeah, I did. Invite him over. Invite him over for dinner. And then of course Kevin Spacey is John Doe, serial killer inspired by the 7 deadly sins. I'll say more than inspired by. It's not like he's gone, oh, a little bit of inspiration. He's gone, I'm gonna make this my own life now. The 7 deadly sins.
You get 1 or 2 books out from the library.
Yeah,
And then...
he was a completely normal, well-rounded guy before he got those books out of the library. Even with the interior of his apartment as we saw it, just like all blacked out, and it's a bit like the thing is, I feel like it is even a bit heavy-handed in places, but I still don't think that's bad. I feel like it still works. Like
orgy of evidence that he's into Jesus, big neon red cross above his bed.
Yeah, like it's proper heavy-handed, and like greed, is it greed's the first one, isn't it? No, sloth. No,
sloths.
Gluttony is the first
one. Gluttony is the first
sorry.
one.
All these words sounding the same to me now. Gluttony, force feed him. Greed, lawyer. It's heavy-handed. It really is heavy-handed, but it's right. It's right for the film. It works. It needs to be like super clear. Like just in case someone turns up and goes, which 7 deadly sins is this then? I'm going to write it massive on the carpet.
Yeah. Can you imagine if John Doe had been committed his crimes after Reddit was invented? He would have some posts up there, wouldn't
This
he?
isn't actually gluttony. It's greed.
Yeah,
it's greed.
Someone would point out, well, actually, yeah, greed is just gluttony. Shouldn't be its own 7th deadly sin because it's just greed for food.
Yeah, it is. I think you're the greedy one, Kevin Spacey. Oh well. Yeah. So
actually, I've got Prader-Willi syndrome, so maybe don't be so judgmental, Kev.
So in an unnamed city, Swindon, overcome with violent crime and corruption, disillusioned police officer Detective Lieutenant William Somerset, 1 week away from retirement, as they always are, partner with David Mills, a young, short-tempered, idealistic detective who recently located to the city with his wife from Taunton. I don't know.
Unnamed countryside. Wookiee.
Taunton.
From Taunton. So it's another one of those films where it goes Monday. You know, I love that. I love that. These are all the things where you go. Some people who probably study film and stuff, they go, that's a bit rubbish. I go, I love that. I love it. Anything that starts with that, anything that starts with chapter 1, even that moment in Strange Darling where it started with like chapter 4.
You were like, you were. I was sat next
I
to Ben
went-
in the cinema. Ben
I
rubbed
went-
his eyes like that. He was like, "What?
I went, have I slept
Can't
through
believe
three...
it!
Have I slept through 3
Chapter
chapters?
3."
I went, oh, come on, don't take yourself so seriously. Happy to be proved wrong. Happy to be proved wrong. Even I do get a bit lost sometimes, especially when it goes Monday and then it goes Tuesday, and I go the following Tuesday, the next Tuesday.
You want the
a
date?
month later.
Tuesday, the
I want the
1st.
date. I want the date. That was what happened to me when I was watching The Stand. It kept like coming up with the date, and I'm like, yeah, but what year? Because everything's gone to shit. Is it like it can't be the same year? Is it 10 years later? Who knows? So yeah, they investigate the first murder, and that's how they meet. They meet at the place. Is that how they meet? How do they meet? Just
They
turns
just
up
meet-
one day.
Yeah, he turns. So the first bit is Morgan Freeman on his own, looking at some gluttony, right? When everyone else who works with him is ever so rude.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, "Oh, he's covered in pasta sauce, absolutely lousy with spaghetti hoops."
it feels like the rest of the police force just want every murder to be like, that's it, one and done. It's you know,
Can everyone
just
not be a
leave it.
serial killer? Just
Yeah.
be this one bloke.
Just too much paperwork.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I think this is the first of 7 deadly sins, isn't it? Oh, give it a rest, Somerset. God, you're always harping on about that. If the next one's greed, yeah, I'm locked in.
Well, we don't get that at first, do we? Because he doesn't see, unlike greed, that is written in massive letters on the carpet. He's written gluttony in Greece on the back of the fridge.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I figure you're taking a big chance that anyone's ever going to find that.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because this is like the little tiny scrapings of the fridge of the floor that have been. What does he do with them? Put them in his.
Force feeds them to him.
Eat these little.
Eat these
little-
bits of floor, yeah.
Eat these
Eat
bits
these
of
bits
your
of
own
floor.
floor. You greedy old.
Yeah.
If you weren't already having a really bad time, you might say, "Can you not just write gluttony on the front of the fridge so people
Yeah.
will?"
I think the first one should be really obvious. We can't make this. They can't make the first one. They can't be any way that they could get confused. All right, the first one. Let's write it on the front door. or
And he's
something.
like, "Right, okay, I see your point. I've committed to the bits of floor now. So if you just eat them, I promise I'll write next one on carpet." Okay.
Yeah, I do love that stuff though, because I do feel like it makes the detectives, or seem superhuman in a way, doesn't it? Because you do go, okay, well, that's why they got this job, because they're working this stuff out. I'd never worked that out in a million years. You go, he just loves spaghetti hoops. He loves it.
Ben's clear-up rate of cases would be phenomenal. Accidental death, too much spaghetti. Well,
Bloody hell, that's one and done. I think someone's been pressing a gun to the back of his head. No, they never do that. What kind of sick
what's that?
person?
Horrible sex dungeon knife thing? Weirdos. Sign him off. Hang him up.
Weirdos. He made me watch, did he? Likely story, mate. Did you recognize? Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Recognize that dude, and there was a degree of separation between that dude and Morgan Freeman. We'll get to it. Yeah. So obviously, Mills turns up. It stinks in there, doesn't it? That's the thing. It absolutely stinks. How long was this supposed to have taken place? Over a few days? Are we made to think?
Yeah,
Obviously, he was
several days.
Living
Yeah.
in, he clearly must have been living in squalor anyway. But over several days, he force fed him until his stomach burst.
Yeah.
You know, we've all had a big old Domino's, and we thought this might be
Oh.
the end.
Shall I have the last 3 slices, or shall I just save them for tomorrow? Well, I'm a bit hungry now.
Have you?
No, it is. I haven't had a Subway for many a year, but you know, when you just think
Footlong.
I'm a bit too hungry for a 6-inch, and you go for a footlong, and then halfway through it, you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna die like that bloke out of 7."
There's no way to look normal eating a footlong. You look like Bulk and Skull from Power Rangers.
Proper Scooby Doo length. What length sandwich do you want? Scooby Doo length, please.
A footlong. I'll only take my food in that measurement, please. So yeah, so obviously Somerset is like, he considers the case like too extreme to be his last investigation, doesn't he? And he wants to be reassigned.
He's like, "No, is Greengrass done something? Let me just pin a burglary on him or something for my last case."
Has someone maybe like not not brought a library book back? We've told you the library is void of crime. No one's
The
committing crime.
library is the best protected building in this
Yeah.
entire city.
Yeah, yeah. We've got 6 of our best guys on it.
He said, "Look, can you give me a case to wrap up my last week of work that I could just finish this week?
Cat up a
What's
tree.
Norman Price been up to? Has he been phoning the fire brigade and doing pranks? I'll go and bollock him."
We gone from Greengrass to Norman Price. Tell you what,
The
we are
two biggest criminals growing up.
alienating our American listeners every week, more and more.
Well, American listeners, can I just reassure you, now is the time more than ever. Just get on my level, all right? You've got Google. People will tell you that ChatGPT can do anything for you. Use its power to understand me, all right? That's my challenge to you.
It's fair enough. That's fair enough. Fair request. And obviously, like Mills is like, give it to me then. Oh, but I do it as my first case. You don't want it as your last case? I'll do it as my first case. Eat shit.
You're like, stop being so rude. It's your first day. Try and make some friends, all right?
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Like, he's not. Somerset's not necessarily. He kind of like just discounts him, doesn't he? Really, like completely. It's not the. I don't think he's doubting his ability, but he's almost just going like.
It's kind of all right.
Here.
I've heard it before.
I've been living and breathing this city, and look what it's done to me. I can't bloody sleep.
I used to look just like you when I started this job.
I used to look just
5
like
years
you.
ago.
Yeah. 5 years ago. Now wear this at.
I had frosted tips when I first got here.
Has he got frosted tips?
I think he does have slightly frosted tips.
It's very, very 90s, isn't it?
Oh,
I feel like it's a great. You know when people say like the best characters are characters you recognize from their silhouettes. I feel like I could recognize these two from their silhouettes. If just yeah, it's just great. It's just like a classic detective pair.
Yeah,
Older, grizzled, add enough of your shit, and the new green.
If Somerset and Mills got added into the new Smash Brothers, Ben, you'd see them the second they put that silhouette up on screen.
Fortnite skins.
Yeah.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
That'd be their emote, the what's in the box.
Yeah,
just shouting.
Morgan Freeman's would be the little metronome, just hold it up.
Or the backhanded slap.
Oh yeah. Wait, who does he slap?
John Doe.
Oh yeah, he does.
He's like, oh shut! Don't tell him the secret.
Don't you dare! Bloody old John Doe. Okay, so there's that one, and then the next one they find, and again, with films like this, it does happen quickly, doesn't it? Like, oh, guess what? There's another body turned up, and the second body is greed, based on greed. The victim has been forced to cut 1 pound of flesh from his body, and the crime scene's marked greed. Yeah, and again, it's almost like everyone's linked and kind of like directs you to the next one because there are clues at this scene directing them to the sloth victim.
And in this one, they put some glasses on a picture of the lawyer's wife.
Yeah, the lawyer's wife has seen.
And being detectives, they don't go, that's a bit rude, isn't it? Drawing glasses on that woman, that photo of that woman, it's a clue. Which of the deaths would you have liked least so far, Ben?
I mean, this one's pretty difficult because I guess I'm not very good at guessing the weight of stuff.
Also, I grew up with the metric system, mate. I'd be stuffed a pound of flesh.
Can I have a pound of bonbons, please?
Bite my fingernail off. Is that enough?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty. Obviously, like the killer at this point, he's reveling in enjoyment of watching people essentially like kill themselves at gunpoint, isn't it? So it's almost like he's punishing people for certain things, but not actively killing them in this sense.
And particularly, this guy's a defense attorney, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I can't remember. Is it revealed or is it one of the extra things that he was the defense attorney for the sloth person?
Oh, was he?
That's how they linked it, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So he's a drug dealing horrible. Is he a drug dealing maybe pedophile?
He's a pedophile.
Yeah. I thought so. I was sorry, I didn't want to, even though it's a fictional character, I didn't want to.
He didn't want to slander him.
Allegedly. I think he's a bloody pedo, this guy. Actually.
Actually, you'll find that his defense attorney actually got him off with no charge. So now you of being in trouble for libel, I'm afraid.
Oh dear.
It's okay. I don't think you can libel the dead. I think you're all right, Ben.
So when they go to find, they obviously get the SWAT team in to go and find the drug dealer. Is that because they think it might be where the killer is potentially? Is that why?
Yeah, because they get it as a clue. So they see the wife, and she
Yeah.
notices that the painting is upside down, and then what's
And
he? What's he?
it's his fingerprints, it's
Mm.
Sloth's fingerprints.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Yes. So then they think he's the killer, but they go to his place, but they find it. I mean, this probably is the most brutal of all of them, isn't it? Because he's emaciated, restrained to the bed. Obviously, whoever's selling those air fresheners, shop on the corner, making a killing because
Yeah.
but he tons up. Can I take 500 air fresheners, please? We've only got 50 in stock. Order them in.
Order
We're
some in.
gonna
I'll be
need
back
'em.
tomorrow.
Alpine fresh.
Mm,
But they don't do anything because people still walk into that room and go, oh, bloody hell. It's melting my face.
Unfortunately, you needed 600, or you needed 501 to like tip the balance over.
yeah.
And yeah, we see the photos obviously of the victim gradually going from looking, yeah, fairly normal to looking totally emaciated. He's had him there for a whole year, and you never guess what? He's still alive.
Yes.
I guess this is
And only the power of that policeman being negative about him is enough to bring him back from the brink. He's like,
yeah. What does he say?
deserved it, mate. It's like, you what?
Yeah, you deserved it.
The fun fact with that, the cast were told it was a dummy and it was an actual actor, and so they weren't so that bit when it like when it does that, the guy that was in Scrubs, that's a genuine reaction because they didn't know that it was an actor. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's terrifying though. Like, yeah, I wouldn't trust anyone ever again. I'm not working on this film anymore. God damn it!
You'd have such a go at David. You know, David, bloody hell, you are Alfred Hitchcock.
David, this is your first film, David. You can't be doing things like this.
Yeah, you've got to be a renowned director before you can be that much of a bastard to me.
Yeah. So obviously he's still alive, but he does die like fairly quickly afterwards, right?
Yeah, I think the doctor says if you shine a torch in his eyes, he'll die.
Yeah.
Have you tested that? You'd be like,
what other things? Oh yeah. Is it like the thing when we said what would put a Victorian child in a coma from modern age?
Give him a taste of your Tango Ice Blast, it'd kill him.
Just show him a Snapchat filter for a second.
Oh no! What's happened to me?
In the eyes.
Get it in.
My tongue was out of dog ears.
My eyes just went massive.
So yeah, he immediately dies.
I feel you could take over the entirety of Victorian England with a Snapchat filter.
Yeah, good. This is you. Excuse me.
Look, this one looked like if you turned into a skeleton, then dropped down actually dead.
Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be the end. So it says here, so Somerset surmises the murders are based on the 7 deadly sins. It took you 3, did it, Mr. Somerset? He was hanging out for it from the first one.
Went to the library, looking for obvious book choices. Let's read Dante's Inferno.
Yeah, I suppose like it's crazy. Even looking back at it, like 30 years ago, if you wanted to find out about something, you pretty much just had to do that. Obviously, now you can Google whatever.
If it had been 10 years later, he could have played the game.
Which game?
Dante's Inferno.
Dante's Inferno.
It would have been like much easier.
God of War style game. So yeah, they're based on the 7 deadly sins. They're obviously trying to work out. They got them on a blackboard at this point, haven't they? They're writing down.
Yeah.
This sin's done.
Yeah.
The sin's coming up.
Somerset has learned them, so he can say in front of the captain, "Is that so far? There's been 3." And he does weird counting where he starts on his little finger.
Yeah.
And he goes, "We've done. We've done greed. We've done sloth." And then he counts off the others, but in a really weird order.
Yeah. So obviously Tracy at this point, I think she's a little bit worried about. Oh no, that's right. She calls up, doesn't she? And she goes, "Can I speak to Somerset, please?" And Mills is like,
"Oh, don't phone me at work, please. You're
to...
embarrassing me. It's my second day."
So she says, "Do you want to come over tonight for some smiley faces and fish fingers?
Come have some alpha bites.
Come have some alpha bites tonight." And I guess it's like to try and she wants to I guess
Make friends,
make
basically, and get
friends,
settled
but
into
also
the.
like increase the bond. Even though this is last week, you can't make friend. I'm off now. See you later. Come over, and this is good. I guess this is good because this gives us a bit more of an insight into these characters, but also I guess we care about them a little bit more, and it's kind of nice that
Yeah.
they kind of bond a little bit over the case, obviously. But yeah, they're in like an apartment, and it's a bit of a shit location because the subway is just like rattling through every few minutes. I got to hold on to everything. Don't
I
put anything on
do
the wall.
I do feel for them being tricked by the real estate agent for not for you only ever let them see the house 5 minutes at a time. But they're not using your eyes to see the train tracks outside. I think that's on you.
Yeah, unlucky.
Yeah.
And you always kept the curtains closed and drove us to the house to show us with a black bag over our heads.
This is weird. Yeah, well, it's custom in this place.
Yeah,
It's
I mean
custom.
the way round it would be go. Oh, we rented it based on pictures alone because we were in a rush to move here, rather than I'm not sure, Nils. That gives me the greatest deal of faith in your abilities as a detective. I reckon. I reckon it's going to take this guy to walk in to police station for you to catch him.
That's pretty much it, isn't it? Yeah, God, thank God he walked in. We would have never got him.
Yeah, almost got him once. He bonked me on the head.
Oh yeah. I absolutely love that chase sequence though. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. So it's to kind of help them get over their mutual hostility, but they do a bit of work as well, don't they, while they're there trying to work out.
Oh, I love it. It's like he goes round for tea, and then he goes, "Should we go to my room and do some of the case now?" And he looks at his wife, he looks at Trace, and
He goes, I'm off to bed.
says, "Oh, can we go and work? Can I go? Do you want to go show him your room in the case?" He says, "Yes, please." He goes, "Go on, you boys." They run upstairs, and then they work on the case for the evening while Tracy falls asleep on her face, like on the sofa, fully clothed, on the bed. Sorry, I've been there though.
Everyone,
You ever done that? You're in the middle of doing something, you're like making the bed, and then you go, "Just gonna lie down on this for a bit."
and that's it. Asleep.
That's it. You're gone.
Night night. The order of things is slightly weird on this plot synopsis because it talks about Tracy meeting privately with Somerset. That doesn't happen immediately, does it? It happens a little while.
It's like a day or so later,
Yeah,
right?
she
She
calls
phones
him
him
up.
because I actually don't know anyone.
I don't. Is there a murder between that?
Maybe Sloth was between those two.
Maybe Sloth was between those two. Okay, so I think so. What happens is Tracy meets privately with Somerset. She's got no other acquaintances in the city. He's like, I only met you the other night once. I wouldn't even consider you an acquaintance at this stage. No. She reveals like her unhappiness at moving there, and then talking to him about like raising a kid in the city because she's pregnant, and she's like, it's an unfit place to raise a child here in Swindon. And
Fair. Yep.
fair enough.
I will
Tracy,
say,
don't be so close-minded, all right?
I will
Perfectly
say,
fine.
not that I didn't blink twice at alienating, an entire country of listeners. If you are from Swindon, I live there, and it's very nice actually.
Yeah, I
And if
like
you learn
Swindon.
to drive in Swindon on the Magic Roundabout, then you can drive
Oh
anywhere,
yes,
anywhere in this world.
I've done it. I didn't learn to drive on it, but I've approached it and I've gone, "What the holy shit is going on here?"
It's actually really good, Ben, because you can go through it
It's
in so
actually
many
really
different
good.
ways.
I'll tell you what,
Genius.
Bristol could learn from it. There are plenty of places in Bristol where I go, should be
Yeah.
a roundabout here.
Bristol, there should be a Magic Roundabout. You get through ever so much easier.
Hell yes. And we get a little bit of an insight into obviously Tracy's character, but even more so into Somerset because he basically says he completely understands, he sympathizes because he was in a relationship and he persuaded that former partner to abort their child for similar reasons, and he's essentially regretted it ever since. And again, he looks like someone who, after that moment, obviously that relationship didn't last, doesn't strike me as somebody, well, he isn't somebody who's got other relationships. He
Yeah.
lives and breathes his work. That is kind of it. And I guess it's almost like he sees all the mistakes that he's made in Mills and Tracy. And so in a way, despite the fact in the start he was kind of being a bit, what seemed like a bit unkind and unfair, he probably is just trying to protect them from.
Yeah.
I like his description here where he says, like, that's a decision I made, and I don't regret the decision, but I do wish I'd done something different.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. yeah, so that kind of happened in that order. So after that, I think it was when Mills said something that made him think about the seven deadly sins, which is why Mills went off to library, off to library, um, and then basically does that thing where works out who's been taking these books out, cross reference with this book and
Is
this one as well.
is one of the many security guards um at the library, the one that turns up music and says, "How is that for culture?" Is that Gigantor from Speed?
It is Gigantor from Speed. What
Gigantor, I'm
I
sure he has
love,
a real name.
that's the deepest of deep cuts, but I also love it because it is one thing that me and my mum always bond over. If she says, I watched Speed the other night, I go, oh yeah, Gigantor. And then after I watched Seven, I genuinely said to her, I watched Seven at the cinema the other day, and she went, yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good, and it's a bit horrible. I went, yeah, Gigantor, isn't it? Literally, a random man in the background of the film Speed, who for some reason, I don't think his real name's Gigantor, is it?
I think they just call him Gigantor because they ask him to do something. His name is probably just normal man.
Just getting Gigantor over here. Don't call me
But
that.
like when Keanu Reeves trying to stop a speeding bus, and he like, not only am I stuck on a bus that's got a bomb in it, but you've now called me Gigantor.
But he's living a much less stressful life in the world of Seven, looking after the library with five of his mates, all playing cards, listening to classical music. It just seems like a lovely place to be. It just seems like the kind of place I'd like to go and relax in the past. You know, I can relax now. I'll be looking at phone notifications and go, what's going on here? Where are you? Just at the library. Oh, grow up. uh, so yeah, he does a bit of digging. He does some photocopying, right? Because you got to do that.
Yeah, and some printing
Yeah,
on your dot matrix printer.
do some printing because that's real good. And essentially, yeah, they do a little bit of this. I guess did they say it's illegal what they're doing, or like it's just a bit frowned upon?
What, printing off at the library?
No, like cross when they do the cross referencing of who's
So
been getting those books out.
he uses a contact at the FBI to do
Database.
that and uses some of their special
Yeah.
bribery money that they've got, like a separate budget from their lunch because he's got a thing. And at first, Brad Pitt, Old Mills is showing that it's the early 90s. Like, oh, don't sit next to me because the people will think we're on a date. And
Yeah.
then he's like,
Oh
no.
yeah, he does say that.
And
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was my first thing. Or when I walked in there, I thought you two was on a date.
Yeah.
yeah, because you're sitting next to each other and not opposite. Funnily enough, weirdly enough, when I go to a restaurant or a cafe with my wife, if I ever sit next to her, she goes, sit opposite me. It looks weird. She's the opposite. She's got the opposite of Brad
She's got
Pitt's
the
problem.
opposite thing. She's like, I want us to look like we're on a date. All right.
Yeah, if I sit next to my wife at a cafe, she goes, don't sit next to me. It looks like we're waiting for a police informant to come. Um, yeah. And then a man comes in who Brad Pitt slags off for no reason. Who's that bloke who stinks?
Oh
Fucking
yeah.
hell, Mills.
I wonder.
Old Stinky that came in here.
He
Um,
does. He does have some good one-liners, old Mills. Ones that make me laugh, and the Yoda line always used to make me
Oh,
laugh. When obviously Somerset's giving the killer like a bit of a bit plaudits, basically going, "Oh, he's bloody, he's meticulous. This guy, he's smart. He's smart. He's been getting these books out, and he's been doing this. We're dealing with someone dangerous." And Mills says, "Just because he's got a library card doesn't make him Yoda,"
Yoda.
which is
an
good.
amazing line. It really
I
is.
like it. It's
Yeah.
funny. Which is a good point as well, because you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, I'm sure, like, there is a meticulous version of this killer, but there might be some just bloody idiot out there going, "I'm just gonna kill everyone
Oh,
based on the seven deadly
the
sins. I
deadly
don't care."
sins.
Yeah.
Greedy man, gluttonous man, envy. Oh, but no, he is pretty meticulous. Although a bit like, you know, he gets a lot of respect, I guess, from them. But by the end, I kind of feel a bit towards John Doe that Mills does. Shut up in the back. Maybe it's just because it's Kevin Spacey,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
and you know I know more about him now than I did when it was 1996. Um, yeah, so they get that message. They get that info from the informant, and they essentially get an address. They cross-reference everything, and they go, "We've got an address." Ooh.
Who has rented out of the library? The Seven Deadly Sins, Dante's Inferno, and How to Do Murders.
How to Do Murders and Goosebumps. Say cheese and die.
Yeah,
This guy.
burning your
He's done all
fingerprints off
four.
for dummies.
I love the Seven Deadly Sins so much. The book.
Yeah, neon crucifixes and how to install them.
How to make a knife deal. Oh, actually, you don't need to make. You don't need to know how to make it. He's got a contact.
Yeah, the yellow pages. They've got the Thompson local.
Anyone who's good at metalwork and also sex toys.
Yeah.
Together.
Metalwork, no questions asked.
Yeah, no questions asked. I'll make anything for you.
What's that? Any old iron down on 5th Street? On we go.
So they go to this place and knock on the door. I just love the way this pans out. It's just so good because this is the literal shoot first, ask questions later scenario.
Yeah. Knock, knock, knock. Hello, police. And then like a billion bullets come out of the door.
So an unseen man, I guess, with a coat and a hat and a bag of groceries, I think, sees them. It's great. It's framed so well. Him just appearing in the background, and then we see, and then he literally just goes. Did they say anything to him? Did they say, or did they just look at him?
At some point they go, oi.
Yeah, at some point they go, oi, and he just starts shooting at them. So it's firing.
Yeah.
Which is like, well, we got our man then. Literally, there's no. And then we get this. It's a great chase sequence with so many amazing bits, like going through people's apartments.
Yeah.
Which way did he go? He went that way.
Yeah, loads of people just pointing.
Yeah. He's got a bit of a limp as well, right?
Yes.
Kevin
Yes.
Spacey and a limp. It's all over it in the mid-90s. He's got,
To be fair, he's faking it in one of them.
What was that?
To be fair, he's faking it in one of them.
He is faking it in one of them, but still, it's like, is this character got a limp? No. Oh, I ain't interested. I need something. I need a limp or something. Yeah, and Mills obviously chases after him, and what is Somerset doing at this point? Just also chasing.
It's just going the other way around.
He's just going the other way around. He's like chasing him, but a less direct,
slower, yeah,
slightly slower, but a more indirect route.
Yeah, he's taking the main stairs down. He's not jumping through windows and almost catching him, only for him to be hiding slightly further away to turn around and shoot more bullets at you.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, I think one thing that it makes me think in this is that this guy's a professional at this stage. You know, I guess he's got it all planned out. He's thinking, if someone's knocking on my door, I'm not just going to walk up there and go, all right, what's up?
I mean, also, I guess if Somerset had taken a look down his library card even more, he would have found like he's also got out like infinite ammo cheat for a pistol.
Oh my god!
I'm just away.
I'm just off to the grocery store. Shall I take my loaded gun? Yeah. Shall I take all the ammo I've got as well?
Should literally take all the bullets so I can have a gunfight like I'm literally in the Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Just like.
The thing is, though, I feel like at this stage he's so desperate to allow this piece of work, which obviously he sees it as, to go through to the end. Like he doesn't want to just stop after like 3 or 4. Oh, remember the guy who did the 4 deadly sins? No.
Oh, no. If I get busted now, it's all over.
If I get busted, it's all over. Luckily, there's no evidence for anything in my house. It's fine. What about all those diaries that you wrote over the course of years and years and years, filling up every tiny little shred of paper with text?
Yeah,
but no one's going to take them seriously.
Yeah, I've got to save up. I cannot be wasting a single penny on exercise books. I want to make. He writes in the margin. I would be ruined on that because one, I'm left-handed, so I would have smudged that ink. Immediately, and he's got meticulous handwriting. Oh, he's meticulous. That's why he can do, even though that is with an ink pen. Sorry, Ben, as we've conjured it. Speaking of meticulous, I need to be meticulous with some detail now. It is not Gigantor that is in this one. The library man is in Speed, but he's the bus driver Sam.
Oh yeah,
who gets stabbed someone else. Gets bullied. Gigantor, whose name is Ortiz.
Wait a second. So not only have I misremembered that, but I've also dragged my mum into it as well and gone Gigantor's in this film.
But Gigantor isn't in it. Sam, the bus driver, is in it.
Oh,
I'm gonna have to do a follow-up text and say, I'm sorry, I've been living a lie.
Yeah, Gigantor, who also apparently is the name comes from like an anime robot called Gigantor, who's a big, happy-looking Iron Giant-looking fellow.
Gigantor is
Spirit animal.
my favorite background character with no speaking part in all of 90s films.
Yeah, Gigantor. His name in it is Ortiz.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
his real
Ortiz.
name.
So yeah, obviously he nearly gets him, Mills, but
Something about Gigantor. Give me
he's
a
on
sec.
top of a van or something. He's lurking on top of a van.
Yeah, they go. There's like a bin lorry around the corner, and he goes and he's looking underneath. I thought he was going to get. I'd forgotten.
The
I thought he
Swindon
was going to
Council
get.
waste van.
Yeah, the street sweeper's out, and he's having a peep under it in case like he's hiding amongst those brushes to make sure
Yeah.
there are no bags of crisps in the gutter. And then Kevin Spacey's actually up on top of it, and he just pops down, bonks him on the head, and then while he's got like birds flying around his head, he picks up his gun and holds it to his head.
So
Do you think he
doesn't kill
means to leave him here, or does he get spooked off by
I think
Somerset coming
so. Are
down?
we thinking? Correct me, Janine.
I
At
think
what
he
point?
means
Yes.
to leave him because he's not part of the plan at that point. And
When was
very
the
focused on his plan. Even if he killed Mills at that point, he's not one of the sins. He becomes one of them, but he's not at this particular moment. He doesn't. There can't be any detractions from what's going on. So he's done enough to stop Mills. That's all he needs to do.
Yeah,
he doesn't want any
He has a
crossover.
picture of him at this point, right? Because
the picture. Oh my god, yeah, that was at the sloth place, wasn't it?
At the sloth place, there's a reporter that's like, "Hey, I'm fucking taking photos here," and he gets in a big row with him. And we find out later that he has to. At this point, he has got Mills's picture. Do you think it's at this point, Janine, that he actually factors him into the plan, or maybe has he got designs on him already? Who knows?
I don't know. I'm not
Because
sure.
maybe because obviously this is definitely a spanner in the works. He wasn't anticipating this at all.
Yeah, he wasn't anticipating them finding him. So when he talks to him on the phone, he goes, "I'm going to have to bring my schedule up."
Actually, I do know the answer. And yes, Mills is part of the plan at this point because his photo is with all of the other photos when they get into the house.
Yeah.
And he's part of the order. So yes, he does know, but he knows it's not the right time yet.
Yeah, he's going to have to do it faster now because they've worked out where his house is and taxed all of his money, as we find out. Because we go back to the house now.
Oh yeah.
Mills is annoyed. He's got like a bump on the head. He's had a gun to his head, and he just goes, "I'm breaking into this house."
Yeah.
And this is where they go, "How much bribery money have we got left?" Just enough.
How much bribery money we got? Oh, I'm afraid. Can I put it in expenses? No, you can't do that. So yeah, they essentially just get some random lady who lives in the apartment block to say that she reported to them that this guy was dodgy, and they came to investigate.
I think it's a homeless lady, isn't it?
I thought it
Homeless
was,
lady,
yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
says when they give the money, he goes, "Oh, go and get yourself some food."
Yeah.
But like, obviously, it's a lady who's like is homeless, is quite like confused. Like, I think it's played as if she might have a drug problem, right? Like or an alcohol problem because she's barely coherent.
Yeah. And I like it how the officer reported to is just like, yeah. Because obviously there was a moment before where Somerset says, "Don't kick the door in because we'll have to explain how we ended up here." I feel like it's too far gone anyway at this point, surely.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just have someone discharging their weapon. Well, actually, do the police, do either of them shoot him? Or do they just get shot at?
No, neither of them shoot.
No, that's right. Oh, yeah, because they talk about whether they discharged their weapon as well, don't they? Early on in their little relationship as well.
Yeah, they talk about have they ever had to shoot at anybody, and Mills has had a police person he worked with before get shot and died. He can't even remember his name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's brutal, isn't it? And what did Somerset say? No?
He's never
Never fired his gun.
He's always one step ahead or behind. Come back. Let me just go down the lift. I'll get you. Um, but yeah,
You've
so
got to
obviously,
take precautions. When you're 1 week from retirement, that is prime time in an
yeah,
action film for being killed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing you
Obviously,
know, there's going to be a bomb under your toilet. Be careful.
so when Mills kicks the door in, what does Somerset say?
She's, oh, fuck's sake.
He just goes, "You stupid motherfucker." He says something like, "You stupid idiot" or something.
Just
Doesn't he?
rolls his eyes.
Bloody hell, classic Mills. I've only known him. I've only known him for a week. Yes, obviously there's all the exercise books full of stuff, and yeah, I, again, it is heavy-handed because it feels a bit Rorschach's diary, doesn't it? Rorschach's diary, where he's just like saw a bloke, he was ugly, everyone in this city is disgusting. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the it's that sort of thing. It's very heavy-handed, but I think it's stylized in such a way that it just suits this world.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what else do they find? Obviously, photos of different things and
Including
photos
him.
of. Is the sex toy that they find at this point? When they're doing the. Oh no, it's after the
The
murder.
receipt for it is with
Yeah.
the stuff that's pinned up. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and pretty much the fourth victim like happens like alongside it, doesn't it? I think. Um, so essentially, someone in like a sex club. I mean, is it like a brothel? Is it like a sex club? It's almost
I
like
think it is like
Yeah.
where sex workers
yeah,
take clients and so on.
thumping
There's
music. They say at one point, "Can we get this music switched off? I can't bloody concentrate."
can't
I
hear
don't think I
somebody
could.
think. Oh, it's loud
Absolutely
music in a place
brutal.
with no dance floor. No, thank you. Not at
Yeah,
my age.
thumping.
Go
Couldn't
to the pub for a
concentrate.
chat.
Can we just have a chat? What under all these horrible red lights?
on these,
We're
on
only here
these,
for one thing.
under all these horrible red lights, and just go to a Yates's wine lodge and judge everyone having a nice time. Sit in a corner and go, fucking hell, I hate everyone here.
So essentially, somebody was held at gunpoint with this like bladed strap-on sex toy and forced to rape a woman and kill her, essentially. And that is the lust victim.
Yeah.
I feel like, if we're thinking anyone deserves it any of these ways, I mean, does anyone deserve it in this instance? I don't think
mean,
anyone does.
Less so particularly and I know that attitudes have changed to this somewhat since the 90s when this happened, even in this grubby city. Like, is the sex worker a perpetrator of lust, or is she
I
a
feel
victim of
like
other people's?
from John Doe's point of view, she probably is. Like the
Yeah.
way we see him write about people, you know what I mean? She probably
Yeah.
is. Even though the inside of his apartment looks like a sex dungeon or something.
I mean,
Talking
to
about
be honest,
lust,
he
are
wants
we?
to have a tidy up. He wants to sloth himself.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, and then there's another one, the pride victim.
These two come in pretty quick
Yeah.
succession, don't they?
He's like, there's three that he's done like over the course of a year, or a year is one. Then one was over the course of like I guess a week or however long. The other one like took a while as well. These ones, he's fast tracking them. He's
Doesn't
he's
he
getting
even
them out
phone up?
there.
He phones up the dispatch, doesn't he? And says,
Yeah, he
"Oh,
does.
I'm gonna have to hurry this up. Sorry,
Yeah, he
everybody.
does.
Please don't think less of me because some of these are gonna feel like they've come a bit quick. But you've really forced my hand here."
Yeah. Pride victim, a model who the killer John Doe facially disfigured and unable to live without her beauty, she committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and
Do we
again,
get any explanation of to this one? Like, is she well known? I didn't pick this up. Is she well known for being exceptionally shallow, or has he gone? She is beautiful, so
we're
I'll
getting
just
into the Jigsaw. What's Jigsaw's name?
John Jigsaw.
John Jigsaw. We're getting into the Jigsaw territory of the Saw franchise, where later on he just went, "What's that? You were a bit rude to someone working in a shop once. That's it. You deserve a horrible trap on your
Not
head."
even that. I think by the time we get to like Saw 4, his murders are you try your best to save everybody. Well, actually, you can't. So
Yeah.
even though that is admirable quality, always trying your best.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you a lesson.
You held a door open for someone, did you? well, some people can't do that because they don't have arms. So now you got a horrible trap on your arm.
Yeah.
What?
Now you'll have to hold
Unfair.
the door open to survive.
Yeah, you got to hold the door open for 24 hours.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so these happen in pretty quick succession. Obviously, the last one's pretty horrible when the guy who was doing it he says the famous, well, the effective line of what does he say? He made me watch. Is that what he says?
Made me watch. He had like a gun in his mouth,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, he
That
made me
guy,
watch."
who I said has got a connection to old. I was going to say Morgan Freeman, but I've got the film wrong. I'm not only am I getting films wrong, getting Gigantor wrong. I need to revoke my '90s movie fan card. But he is the killer in the movie Bone Collector.
Is he the bone collector?
Yes, the guy who does the lust kill is the
Oh,
killer.
okay.
Who? Sorry, gets beaten in a fight with a paraplegic Denzel Washington.
he defeats
Right,
him.
come here then. Somehow ends up losing the fight with a paraplegic man.
You know who I remember him from, Ben? He is uh he's bloke with alien in him in Alien Resurrection.
He sure is. Yeah, he sure is. But yeah,
Like, what the fuck's inside me, man? When he was saying he made me watch, I was like, I recognize that energy.
yeah. So yeah, Somerset and Mills return to the police station. Well, I don't know what we're gonna do next. We'll just have to
I
wait for
love Somerset's thing here. So, oh well, this will wrap up pretty soon. Is that? How's that? So, well, he's done 5. He'll do another 2, and either we'll catch him in a minute, or
that.
or he'll do another 2, and that'll be that. Then actually, it's not the 14 deadly sins. So either way, I'm set to retire Friday.
In a way, 7 ain't even that many. He's done 5 now. What's an extra 2? And they're walking up the stairs. Or they're on their way to get a hot bovril and have a nice relaxing time. And
Yeah.
then
Go down the following the Swindon, and they're off down the Oasis for the afternoon. Go on the Dome Busters.
But John Doe arrives. What's annoying about this is that John Doe's trying to get their attention. They ain't paying attention initially.
Yeah.
It's me, the serial killer. Yeah, so I said to him, "What, piss off, mate." And everything. It's me, the serial killer. And then after that, you never guess what?
Bish, will someone arrest that man for being bloody rude?
Being bloody rude.
We're
No.
trying to have a chat.
He's covered in blood, and he surrenders himself. He's got his fingerprints cut off as well.
Old Mills doesn't cover himself in glory. He's surrendered. You don't need to shout at him so much. He's like, all right, don't
It's
pretend
almost
you're
like-
doing a great job arresting him now.
Yeah. Oh, we got him.
Arrest him at once.
Pin him
I've
down.
got you. He's
Thank
kind
God
of
I was
given
here. So, despite the fact that they've got him in custody, John Doe still has the upper hand.
He says, "Get me my lawyer, please."
Get me my lawyer. I will plead insanity at my trial, which means I'll escape punishment. I mean, maybe not, but unless Mills and Somerset escort him to an undisclosed location, Chippenham, where they will find the envy and rap
Burton.
victims. He goes, "Come with me. I'll show you this." And they're like,
And I will plead thing. Although I don't know, has John Doe really got
Signs
the
him,
upper
hasn't
hand? I'm not sure. If the crime in this city is this bad, I don't know that going to a mental health facility is going
Yeah.
to be that lovely.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he strikes me as like he has to be in control, but he always feels like he's in control. Yeah, I don't necessarily know if he.
He also plays the media angle, though, right? It says they find out there's another 2 bodies out there.
Yeah,
You'll look proper foolish.
You two be on toast. You will. And yeah, I don't know. Again, talking about the heavy-handed stuff. I mean, this is genuinely the only stuff that makes me not say it's an absolutely perfect film, because I do love it. But it's only this stuff, because he starts talking about God and being given this message about like sin and everyone's shit, and it's not what he says, but
Yeah.
everyone's shit and I'm better than he's got no remorse for everybody, and he just wants the murders to force society to pay attention to him.
Yeah, because I mean, he proved his point by having to shout so loud before they have to hear. I think that
Yeah, no.
that mirrors it quite nicely, right? He says, you try to talk to people, they don't listen. You have to literally smash them in the head
Yeah.
before you get anyone's attention.
Yeah, I think Fincher is good at this. I know with Fight Club it wasn't necessarily his source material, but that sort of like, how can you describe it? Is it just like discontent for the
Mm.
world and
Yeah.
everybody within it, you know?
Yeah.
And again, something that teenage me was all over. You know, I was like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, make the soap. Put a little tiny bit of porn in the film. Come on.
Yeah.
And probably like watching Seven, I'll probably I kind of you know like the anti-hero, the toxic masculinity anti-hero that like some people of a certain age gravitate towards. Patrick Bateman,
Yeah.
the killers, you know, the bad guys that we
Yeah.
think, yeah, actually, the world is shit and it is out to get me, and I do want to punish people. But essentially, I think when you get a bit older and you get a little bit more understanding of these things, it's just an ego thing. It's just an ego trip. This whole
Yeah.
thing is he wants to be his work of art to be revered by the media, the
Yeah.
world,
He
everybody.
wants that attention. He
He
wants the
wants that.
plaudits for doing this thing and being
Yeah.
recognized as the seven deadly sins killer, right?
Yeah.
Seven
Some
deadly
people
sins.
have actually compared John Doe to the Joker character as well.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Just the kind.
Especially as there's no like origin story there. There's no sort of like they never go into any reason. You know, so many
Mm.
films you end up kind of like at least having a little bit of sympathy for the you know the antagonist because oh actually he was abused as a child, this happened, that happened. You can see like where the progression started, but we never really find out anything about John Doe, and that kind of makes it you know more mysterious and everything. But that's why a lot of people have kind of said that him and the Joker are quite similar in their ways.
Yeah.
And there's actually some shots in the film where it's like with him behind the bars which are like mirrored in the Heath Ledger Joker film, like
Okay.
where you can see like the comparisons, which is quite interesting.
That is interesting. And like I
Yeah.
guess similar to like we can only assume that John Doe also isn't a real name. Like he doesn't even have
Yeah,
a real identity of
Well, I
his own
mean, if
apart
that
from
was
this
his real
killer.
name, he would have struck gold, wouldn't he? If he just John Doe or something. Just
I wonder, are you allowed in America, if that's what they call an unidentified body, are you allowed to name a real person John Doe?
his name's John Doe. Oh, okay, I get it. No, really, yes. I like the Joker comparison. I like it makes me think of especially the Heath Ledger Joker, where nobody knew where he was from, and obviously even his idea of his origin story was so different every time, like almost like he
yeah,
didn't know, or like when he says, "I'm like a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do if I caught one." It almost does feel like John Doe is acting out these terrible, terrible things, but like maybe he doesn't realize the true scale of it until it's complete. And the fact that its completion also includes his death just shows like how committed he is to it as well, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah,
really what he's going for. And I guess he takes a slightly different tactic. I think it's revealed to us now that it is definitely an ego thing for him and he wants to be recognized. But as he continues to toy with Mills and Somerset, kind of gives them the old Trisha Goddard, doesn't he? And he's like, he slagged me off. It's you know, these are people that you wouldn't have valued a great deal either. It is a
Mm.
sex worker, a paedophile, someone who got that person off for their crimes,
yeah,
and then arguably this bloke was a big fat man. And it was like, well, serves him right as well because you would think he was gross.
yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and like but he points out to them like, you wouldn't have thought these people were worth saving. As far as I'm concerned, I've done you a favor, got rid of some people that you don't think has any value, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Um this whole bit with him in the back of the car, like it does almost shine a light on it. It does really make the human side of him come out um in such a way that it's just like, oh, when the curtains pulled back, almost like the Wizard of Oz scenario, like he's
yeah,
just a feller.
yeah,
Yeah.
He's just a feller. He's not this big scare. I mean, obviously, yeah, he commits these terrible acts, and in a way that is terrifying. But he's just a guy who clearly is lost his way in the worst possible way. And now he's lashing out.
Yeah.
And he's not done yet.
They
Nope.
should have got him with some gatekeeping, shouldn't they? Be like, oh, you read Dante's Inferno, did you? What's your favourite canto? Name 3.
Well,
No, I like it. All right, all
I
right.
actually only read a bit of the beginning and I skimmed the rest. And oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
like Dante's Inferno, dude. Name 3 songs.
yeah. Oh,
What's your favorite circle of hell?
Yeah. Who's the? How do you beat the third boss then? The game isn't out yet. Stop bringing it up.
Oh,
Won't be out
yeah.
for 10 years.
Just a bit of like, do you think knowing like Kevin Spacey and obviously how his career unfolded, does that give you like a different like a different opinion of like the way this performance is? Do you kind of like go, I believe it more, I believe it less? I don't know. Does that affect you at all, or do you just see the performance for what it is on face value and not really look into the
Oddly
man?
enough, I think with roles like this one, because he is an unpleasant and murderous character, in many ways, the things that happened in his personal life and the things that came out about what he was accused and convicted of and these things in the future, they kind of don't upset the opinion of the performance and the acting, because I think it would be very difficult to watch something where, you know, that film where he's transformed into a cat and it's all very sweet. That is very difficult to
Oh,
stomach
right,
now,
okay.
because that is
Wait,
a
what film's
family
this?
friendly.
Is he a
Oh,
cat in a film?
I think there's a voice one where he's a cat. I'm gonna look it up for you.
Oh,
But
thank you.
but
Well,
like
maybe if he was like one of the protagonists in this film, it might be
Mm.
yeah,
slightly
if he was
Yeah.
one of the
slightly
detectives,
different.
it'd be quite difficult,
Yeah.
I think.
So almost like separating the art from the artist.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't work every time, but for a role where someone's playing someone we're not supposed to, side with in any way, it's easier than
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a bit of a sniveling. Like I would be annoyed with him, like Mills is. I
Yeah.
would be.
Just shut up, will you?
Well, just
Yeah.
shut up. Get on with it. So yeah, a remote location, far outside city limits, and they take him there, and he's like, you know what I mean? You get him to say more than just a bit further. 3 more steps to the
I'll tell you
left.
what. Tell me when to stop.
Tell me when to stop. Well, tell me where we're going. Are we just going to the middle of the desert? Where are we going? Please give me some more information. Um, and they obviously get out the car, walk towards where it's going to be, and this is where John Doe says, "What's the time?"
Yeah.
And they tell him the time, and he says, "What does he say? It should be here. Should be here
Yeah.
any minute." And
Yeah,
this
any time
this
now.
is a masterclass in building tension, because even though I know exactly what's about to happen and how it's going to fold out, how it's going to unfold, my heart was racing,
Yep.
and it always does.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that damn good. And as the delivery van approaches, I love everything about this. I love seeing the heat on the horizon, the
Yeah.
dust being kicked up by the van, everybody immediately panicking. Oh my god, someone's coming. The helicopter circling, just everything about it.
Keeping the sights on him, the tension is just so high.
The
in
way
this
John Doe is
moment.
continuing to talk at this sort of like monotone, really low, while obviously Morgan Freeman goes to intercept the van, but then Brad Pitt is getting more and more distressed. Like he genuinely has no idea what. Do you know what I mean? Like he obviously knows something's very, very wrong, but I don't know if I entirely believe that he thinks it's that until obviously John Doe essentially
Yeah.
tells him.
This poor delivery driver, though.
Oh yeah, delivery driver. Can you deliver this to the middle of the desert, please? This is before Uber Eats and Deliveroo. You know what I mean?
$500 though.
Me?
It's fair.
That's fair. Somerset intercepts the vehicle, and the driver was instructed deliver a package to Mills at this specific time and location. I mean, to be fair, John Doe's lucky that it's worked out the way it has. Because you imagine if they go, yeah, we will take you to this place, but we'll do it tomorrow. All right, you can rot for 24 hours. It's got to be today.
We've got to be. Yeah, we'll be really busy actually today. We've got all this paperwork to do.
Yeah.
Or
I'll
if
plead
that
insanity right
delivery,
now. Insanity. I'm insane.
or that delivery driver had been like, "This guy's paying me $500. I don't want to be late. I will make sure I'm there at 10:27."
Yeah.
He'd have been waiting for them by the side of the road. He'd be like, shit.
Oh no! I just ain't panning out how I imagined it in my head at all. So yeah, Somerset intercepts the vehicle. and opens the box. Oh, he's got a little knife as well. We forgot to mention his little switchblade.
Switchblade.
I feel like it's there for this moment, but they needed to go back and put it in his hands earlier in the film so that he didn't just pull it out, you know.
Yeah.
Smart asses like us a bit. What's he got a knife for?
Yeah, exactly. Just this moment, just the way he like pulls back, the way he just goes that. I kind of remembered hair, and I don't know if I just filled in the blanks of that. I don't think we see hair, do we?
No, you don't see
No.
anything.
No, we
And
don't
that's
see
so
anything.
mad because I could have sworn I've seen Gwyneth Paltrow's head in a box, and I haven't.
No.
No, it's just great. Like it honestly is a masterclass, and it feels like redundant to say that, but it really, really is. And obviously, Somerset. How can I keep him as calm as possible in this particular instance? Run towards him, wave the
Him
arms,
screaming, "Put your gun down!"
put your bloody gun down. And obviously, John Doe is just doing his monologue, his reveal, which is, um,
But actually, envy, that's my sin.
yeah.
And I thought you had a brilliant
I can't
family.
even say it. It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, I won't say it like him, obviously, because I'm not a renowned actor. But he basically points out that he was envious of his family, so he did a murder on them, and also he reveals to Mills at this time that she hasn't got round to telling yet because she was deciding what to do about the baby. He reveals that not only did she beg for her own life, but she told him about the baby, and he at this point he never has to say what is in the box. He's screaming and he's demanding for it and he wants to know, but
Mm.
I think that's probably one of the most skillful parts of the writing about this film. The same as two of us at very least. Janine, I don't know if you had memories of it until you saw the film again and reminded yourself that you never see anything. Not only do you never see anything, nobody says what's in that box.
Yeah.
Nobody has to say it. You know,
No.
and they know.
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman knows he saw, but
There could be
everyone else, they
a
just know.
hundred filmmakers who would deal with this in a completely different way, and they'd show you the head, they'd show you hair, they'd have someone say, "There's a head in the box," and obviously,
Yeah.
I know John Doe does say, "I had to take a souvenir, her pretty head," but yeah, he says he tries to play Happy Families, doesn't he? And it didn't
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just think this extra layer of Somerset knowing that Tracy was pregnant as well just adds so much of no one needs to say anything. We just know what that look means,
Yeah.
especially when he says, "Oh, he didn't know,"
Yeah.
talking about Mills, and then Somerset obviously does know, but yeah, it's just overwhelmingly intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
Does John Doe? I don't remember now. Does John Doe point out that the wrath will be the
yeah, I
final
think
piece of the
so.
puzzle? Do we put that together
I think
ourselves
he
as the
does
audience as well?
because I think he does. Yeah, because he pretty much just says,
Yeah. It just
"Become
says,
Raph."
become Raph.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, and I keep saying it, and I'm honestly I'm not throwing cold water on the film at all because I love it. But like even that, "Become Raph" and putting your hands out like that, it's almost cartoonish in a way
Mhm.
for this ending, but it absolutely 100% works. Become Raph and just his Brad Pitt's facial expressions, his acting in this moment when he's just fighting. He's got this internal battle going on, like just kill him, don't kill him, just kill him, don't kill him. Oh my god, just kill him. Like it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just so it's just insane. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, but the way Morgan Freeman says John Doe has the upper hand as well is just it's like it puts chills all over me. Like even just discussing it now, like it's that good.
Yeah. I think it's also really clever that this is the only part of the film that's in sunshine. Everything else, it's been raining.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
And now,
rain or the middle of the night, right?
yeah, that's it. So it's been dark and dreary and rainy and horrible all throughout until the very end, the very last bit, which
Yeah.
is in theory like the darkest part of what
Yeah.
he reveals, and it's brilliant sunshine.
Wow. Didn't
Yeah.
think it.
Yeah.
Didn't think of that. But yeah, you're right. Wow. Okay, and it
And then
ends how you would expect in
yeah,
this.
he becomes wrath. He shoots John Doe dead. Everyone is losing it, and we kind of end. And I like, for a moment, I toyed with the idea that would it have been more effective if it had just cut with him shooting and that being the end of the film and really end on that,
Hmm.
that big full stop, that exclamation point. But on reflection, I really like what they do with the end. I mean, it makes the film even more cripplingly sad. I think you see, Brad Pitt is in the car, and we know that the police are able to finagle things, but I imagine there's a deal of press coverage. We don't know.
Yeah.
We never know exactly what's going to happen to him,
Yeah.
but he is whether he faces legal consequences or not, everything is ruined for
He's
him. He
done.
has defeated him. He is
And it
beaten in
kind
the back of that car. And then we have that quote from
well, Somerset before that quote, he says he'll be around. So it strikes me now he's not retiring.
Mm.
He's gone. I gotta pick up the pieces of this, and I kind of need to. He was ready, I guess, to leave everything in the hands of Mills, but now he knows he can't. So
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
And then sorry, the quote, Andy.
the quote, and I forget who he's quoting from, but saying
Hemingway, I think.
Hemingway,
Yeah.
Mm.
and he basically says that the world is actually quite a beautiful place and it's worth fighting for. And he goes, believe in the second part of that.
Yeah. Wow. And there we go. That's the end. I mean, if you were feeling in any way void of void of hope for the world or anything, this film is probably not going to put you in the. Well, it depends what you enjoy actually.
I
'Cause
think we've done our very
watching a
best
film
to
like
keep it
this,
light.
watching a film like this, I think makes me happy because I think that was just crafted so well.
Mm.
When a film makes you feel those things, no matter how many times you see the film, and you're
Yeah.
still feeling those things, like you just really know how well it was done. There we go. Um, as often with one word, it's difficult to play a name game, and also when we discuss quite a serious film, it feels a bit derogatory sometimes. Should we just rate the film, Andy? Do you think?
We can. I mean, I've prepared for this, Ben. If you
If you prepared for it,
name games, I can do one. I can do one or two for you.
if you prepared for it, let's do it.
I think one might in particular work with the parallels we pulled in this film. So,
Okay.
can you read the synopsis for me, please?
Two detectives hunt a serial killer who uses the seven deadly sins as his motive.
In this film, Ben, made by the good people at the asylum with a very slightly different name, two detectives hunt for a serial killer who focuses all of his killings in a county in the southwest of the UK.
Devon.
Devon, correct. I feel that was given all of your parallels there.
I was looking at it going, hang on a minute, what? Devon, what's in the sequel? So they move from Swindon. They go, we're gonna move. Where are you gonna move? Across the pond? Just
No.
down to Devon. Down to Devon. It'd be much more chilled
Down
down
to
there.
Devon, what would the different things been like? Oh, hang on, I'm gonna really show myself a bit. What if I choose a town in Cornwall and not in Devon? Lou.
Yeah. Be careful.
God.
Yeah.
Be careful, mate. Two okay, let's go for it. Two detectives, a rookie and a veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses deadly sins as his motive, but he only rented out the book once, and actually he can't count, and he's a bit heavy-handed.
He can't count. It was a bit heavy-handed.
He only got the book out once, read it, skimmed it. He's gone, how many sins are there? It's better to over prepare.
11?
11, yeah. He's only gone and done 11 deadly sins, isn't he? What other ones has he added in? Stinks.
Yeah.
Stinks. Rude. Bold. I'm just describing myself now.
Oh,
Bold would be a good one, though, wouldn't it?
the 11th
Yeah.
deadly sin, bald.
You are so bold. It's such a deadly sin. Well, I can't help it. It's hereditary.
But snores.
I do that as well. Bloody hell. I'm steering clear from this guy.
In this film, two detectives look for a murderer who's committing crimes, and he's basing all of his crimes on the traps Set in a family's house around Christmas time to stop Harry and Marv from burgling it.
Kevin?
Kevin, exactly.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Kevin. Kevin. Wow. How am I going to do this one? Just trying to think of just trying to think of this person. Oh, okay. Two detectives, a rookie and a veteran, hunt a serial killer who uses the seven deadly sins as his motive. And they come across one guy who's real fast. So fast, in fact, that every sequence he's in is in slow motion, set to a popular song. And he's in the X-Men franchise.
Oh, Quicksilver.
Yeah, Quicksilver. Who's the actor who plays him?
Oh, jeez. Not Aaron Taylor Johnson, but his mate.
His mate, yeah.
Oh, what's his
You know what
name?
his mate could be? It rhymes with seven.
Um,
In fact, I think the sequel to Bruce Almighty was named after this guy as well.
oh, is his name also Kevin?
No,
Evan.
Evan. Correct.
Evan.
It's bloody Evan. Someone's doing a murder and just signing everything as Evan.
Um,
Did you see
in
why I
this
wanted to
one-
skip this, Andy?
I've got one more for you, Ben. I'm in a lovely time. We just need to pick ourselves up after what's been a very trying time.
Yeah.
One more. In this sequel to Seven, it turns out that John Doe wasn't mad and misinterpreting the word of God at all. After he gets shot by Brad Pitt, he is welcomed by St. Pete and has a lovely time from then on.
A sequel to Seven. Is it like a
So John
religious...
Doe,
Huh?
John Doe, he's been shot at the end of that film, doesn't he? But it turns out he'd actually interpreted the word of God exactly, and he's rewarded.
He's only gone to heaven.
Heaven, correct. Which of course is not
John
what
Doe,
would really happen.
you've done exactly what I expected of you. In fact, you're the only person in heaven because no one else has done it.
No one else has done this. Well
It's a
done.
bit boring in it though, I'm afraid. Everyone who's slightly interested, they're doing stairs.
And that is definitely all I've got with a one-word answer.
Okay. Okay. Good. Sorry, that sounds rude. Good. Gigantor. I just realized you texted me a picture of Gigantor while we're playing this. Okay. Right. We got to rate the film A to F. Pluses and minuses are allowed. I feel like I know which way this is going to go, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. Janine, how would you like to rate Seven? Would you give it 7 stars?
7 stars. Yeah.
If you
11 out of
could.
10.
You're not Louis Walsh in this, though.
And definitely A plus. Yeah. No notes. That's it. Just
No
perfect.
notes. I think
Done. Yeah.
yeah. Andy.
I will go for an A on this one. I think a really well crafted film comes together so nicely. Like there is such visually it is both repugnant while being like appealing at different points. It comes together so nicely. I think one of David Fincher's finest, the very fact that we have to think about which one our favorite is. Absolute grade A performances from a lot of the cast. Like you say, Ben, maybe it holds back from A plus because I would have liked a little bit more a little bit more room for Tracy. It's already not a short film. Maybe just give her a few more minutes so we can spend a little bit more time with her, maybe, and build those things out. More time with the dogs as well, obviously. But yeah, I think a wonderfully crafted movie, and particularly for the director's one of his early films as well. It just shows so much talent behind this, and this is why he's gone on to do some incredible things.
Yeah, I think I'm joining you on an A. I mean, it's pretty close to an A plus, to be fair. I'm not. It's not like I've got problems with it. It just isn't. A plus is like my ultimate. And to be fair, I don't dish out A pluses like they're going out of fashion either.
No.
So an A.
I think they're rare to come by, and also for particularly as we rate things in the show by how much we enjoyed them. This is one of those wonderful films which I can enjoy a great deal, but I couldn't watch it too regularly because of because of some of the subject matter. Like I think it would be a hard one to watch. Oh, It's a rainy afternoon. I'll put this on, cheer myself up.
I couldn't watch it too regularly, but I do always have like the same experience with it. It's not like I watch it and go, I know what's coming next, blah blah blah. I watch it and I always go, oh bloody hell,
On the
or I
edge of
go
your seat.
holy shit, or I go, well that's cool. I love that bit of dialogue. It could be an A plus. It's close to an A plus, but for now, just an A, I think.
Yeah, more time with those lads working at the library, and you'd be tipped over the edge.
Oh yeah, if there was an hour, if there was like a big hour in the middle of me just chilling with those guys in the library playing cards,
If it actually had been Gigantor.
I'm happy. I'm happy it was the bus driver as well because he was also a great character. Okay, there we go then. That's 7. Thanks for joining us, Janine. Thanks for suggesting this film as well because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's one we should have covered, but we haven't got around to it before. But yeah.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you for having me.
You're
Yeah,
welcome.
thanks. Always good to see you, Janine.
Where can our listeners keep up to speed with A, things you're working on, B, action films you're watching, and C, whenever the Descent book is released as well? Where's the best place to keep up to speed with you?
Either Twitter or Instagram, and I still call it Twitter and always will. And it's Janine Pipe 28.
Awesome.
And Blue Sky. I think it's the same. I think I'm basically the same on every.
You've mastered it, Janine. You've got the same tag everywhere.
Wonderful. Good work. Brilliant. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to all of our patrons there. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review. In fact, I'm collating some ratings and reviews, mainly the reviews, for the book I already mentioned. So if you want to get featured in it, write us a review. Do you know what? I don't even care if it's a bad one. Get it in there. We'll share it.
Although I just need to add that if you do write a bad review, not in a legally binding sense, just kidding, but I might murder you, like
that's
in a Seven Deadly Sins way.
That's one of the sins, bad review.
Yeah, bad review on podcast. You'll get proper jigsawed. Now you must write reviews to live. If you stop typing even for a second, pins get shoved down your throat.
Oh, God. Oh, Jesus.
Don't make the rules, Ben. Sorry.
We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and Twitter as well. You'll find us on it all. Go to horrorhangout.co.uk and everything will be in one place. How
Slap
exciting.
it all up.
Next week, another new release. Not saying this film was a new release, but you know what I mean. Another one in the list of new releases. Heart Eyes, a lovely Valentine's themed slasher with special guest Kat Hughes. So looking forward to that. That should be fun. Thank you again, Janine. It's been good fun.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it. Join us again soon, whether it's to talk about another film or, of course, the book as well.
Keep us posted on what you're up to, all the exciting things. I'm
writing an action book as well, a book all about modern action films.
Oh, you are? Oh my God.
Yeah. Forgot that.
There we go. Forgot that. Exactly. Well, we'll add it to the list next time we introduce you. We'll say Janine is writing. Bloody hell, give me a second. Janine is working on.
Plus romance. This, and then, who knows, Janine, it could really turn things around. You might join us on this very feed next year and be like, welcome to the Romance Hangout, a podcast where newly converted romance fans watch the best and worst romance movies of all time.
There we go.
And talk about what their favourite kisses were.
Oh,
Upside Down Spider-Man. That's the best one.
Yeah.
Even though
hard
logistically,
to top, actually, you've gone.
It's hard to top, exactly. In the rain as well. Right. Okay. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, everybody. Bye for now. Be careful and write your clues legibly if you could. Come on.
Yes, please. And don't write them in Greece. Write them in biro.
Back of the fridge. Come on. Big on the carpet every time. Thanks. Good night, everybody.
Night.